Welcome back to another episode of Bulletproof Mindset, Scotland's #1 health, fitness and entertainment podcast. Today we have a very special guest. David Hatt joined us on the show, and what a great I think it was just over 2 hour conversation that we had, diving into many areas of his life, into the 12-week peak and also what's to come in the future with his business. Now, David has been on a bunch of different podcasts, and there's a couple I want to shout out actually. One of the first podcasts that done a really good background deep dive into his story was Call Cambro. I think it was episode 6. And then there was another podcast from Adam Donnelly that David went on that really done a great job of diving into his story. Now, I didn't want this to be like another repetitive podcast, so we did brush over some points. If you do want to hear more about his story, check the show notes, because I'm going to leave a link to those podcasts. Highly recommend them. Check them out. They were fantastic hosts and done a great job of interviewing them. But in today's episode, you can expect much more diving into the nuances of what's going on over the last 12 months with David, what's going to happen in the next 12 months, and his 15-year plan, which of course is very, very cool. Now, for you guys who don't know who David is the owner of MTN, which is Mindset, Training, Nutrition. I nearly got that back to front. My dyslexia is not holding up too well. But he has founded that company over the last 4 years, but has been a personal trainer for 10 years. David has literally done it all, from in-person coaching to training online to group coaching to going over to Dubai to training over in Dubai and then actually coming back here in Scotland and settling down in Scotland. So we dive into all of that, how that came about, but more so what's going to happen with MTN in the future. This is a very, very interesting conversation, and I know you guys are going to enjoy it. Now, before we get into today's episode, if you're new around here, I need a favour from you. If you like today's conversation and you got some sort of value and entertainment from it, I need a favour. It's the best way you can support the show, and it's completely free to do, and that is leaving a rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing to the channel. I release episodes every Monday and Thursday at 6 a.m. I've been doing this for the last 18 months, and you damn sure I'm going to be doing this for the next 18 months. I really liked where David had a 15-year plan, and in my 15-year plan, I absolutely see myself podcasting in 15 years' time. So I'm going to commit to that. If you want to support us, that would mean the world to me. But that is enough chit-chat. Enjoy today's conversation, and if you stick around to the end, you're going to hear a special announcement from David and MTN on what they're going to be doing next. So enjoy. I went back to the archives anyway in the Instagram that. I seen some questionable stuff.
Oh, here we go. I like that.
It was more the workouts, mate. I was like, what is this? Like, what's the thing when you flip yourself up off the ground straight into a press up? I was like, man, this is mad calisthenics workouts.
That must be 9 years old.
Yeah, it was back. Did
you go right to the
I
start?
wanted to see, like, when did you start posting on Facebook?
I think 10 years ago.
2014, I seen that. And
Was
it was
it
like
10 years?
It was like the standard, remember the ab shot?
Yeah.
on your bed.
I remember posting, I changed my profile picture, right? I changed it to me standing with a six-pack and then 3 meal prep photos. That was my profile photo. I remember some guy, I'm trying to think his name, some guy commented it like, what the fuck is this?
Into you, aye?
Oh, and I remember it went like locally viral, and everyone was like that. Like, some people were like, aye, that guy's a fucking gimp, and some people were like, no, he's just trying to promote his business. It was so funny, man.
I know. So I went back, and it probably I didn't want it to be like the standard podcast. You come on and telling the same story. So I was very conscious of that. We were also, this is a long time coming. We tried to get you on for a while, but I think you went on Adam's when we were about to get you on. Before the 12-week peak started for this year, and I remember he released that. That was a banger in episode. He done well with getting right into your story, and I was like, we would just kind of cover off the same things, and I thought it would be good to get you after the 12-week peak's done, because I imagine life's
more things to chat about, and
like
life's a bit better.
Really. So I guess first things first, is it congratulations in order. It's like the biggest one yet. How was that then?
It was mental. It was good. I didn't quite hit my goal. I had a goal of 500 sign-ups, but other than that, it was
just scratched the surface.
It was exactly. It was amazing. Like, it was such a phenomenal kind of program. It was just the scale of it. Like, it's kind of mental thinking back to the first one, which was like 109 people. So it's like quadrupled in the last 3 years. So it's been mad. And am I right in saying the evolution of this was like, I seen a post way back. It was like 6-week challenge for like 60 quid, and then is that where that idea started from? That's how I started online coaching. So when I lived in Dubai, I didn't have any online clients, and I didn't actually have many clients at all when I lived there. And I was like, why don't I just approach everyone that I worked with back home with an offer at the time? And the offer was, I think you're right, I think it was like 60 or 75 quid for a 6 or 8 week challenge, something like that. And then whoever got the best transformation won like 75 quid. So it's funny because that was like what was that, 2018, so 6 years ago. And then everything that I've done has kind of been like an evolution on that. Like I've always done like intakes of people. Not so much now, like to work with us, you can join at any time, but certain things that we do, the 12 Week Peak, the Fat Loss Project, the Growth Project, they're all like you start, there's a start date and an end date. And some of those have like a competition element, or they have a prize, or they have something involved. And to be honest, it was just a marketing strategy initially. It was a good way to be like, get in shape and win money.
Did you ever think you'd be giving away holidays? No,
fuck me. Like, the first 12 Week Peak was £1,000 cash prize.
Oh, was it? Where's the idea coming from that? Was it just like a buzzword?
I definitely seen it from the £1,000 thing. Was just like, I'd love to win £1,000 for like getting lean. I was like, fuck it. Like I would like to do that. I think if I look at all the business things that I've done, it's just like, what did I want, and like what we're about to launch, which we can maybe chat about as well. Is like, it's kind of like, what do I need in my life right now, and I just build something around that. So yeah, the kind of price thing was just, I'd definitely seen somebody else do it, whether it was Jamie Alderton or you'd seen somebody do it. Like I'm not one of these people that's like, this is an original idea. Don't get me wrong, some of the things that we've done within the 12 Week Peak now are original in the sense of like we've combined lots of people's ideas into one big thing.
To make your own thing,
but I'm not somebody that claims what like it's a Fat Loss Challenge. Like lots of people have done it.
We've done a pretty good job with it for sure over the last number of years. So without spending too much time kind of looking back, I think your story's quite interesting. I think what you done, like 7 or 8 podcasts, I think, and hearing the story. And then the first one, I think it was either Cambro's or might have been Jordan's one.
Yeah.
But then I heard your journey actually started with karate. Yeah. And that was like your athletic pursuit and that sort of thing. You still hold any of those traits from the karate days?
I can kick heads. I can kick heads. If you're ever in commando and you're kicking about reception, I'll like
throw a spin kick.
Throw a wee spin kick now and then. Alex usually takes the brunt of it, and I can control it quite well as well usually, so I can get to it there. I'm always, see, the thing is with sport and karate, I was always very athletic but really bad at the actual, like I wasn't that great at karate, but like from the fitness side of things and strength and conditioning, like that's probably why I got into like fitness. But I was never that good at karate. I competed, like I think I came second in Britain. I competed at a high level, but I wasn't that good at it. I was just quite athletic, so I kind of got away with being good based on athleticism, not necessarily based on skill.
So from there, like I heard your story, like you start life of coaching on the side while working in IKEA. So think like this fitness thing might actually work out, and then you transition to like full-time personal training, that sort of thing. What's going through your head at this point? Like,
probably, see, at that point there wasn't any personal development in my life. There wasn't any. Nah, it was just a case of I knew I didn't want to work in IKEA for the rest of my life, and seen personal training as like an avenue. Did I think I'd still be doing it 10 years later? Probably not. Nah, like I probably thought it was maybe a stepping stone to maybe I would go to uni, or maybe I'd go and do something else. But it just kind of like evolved and developed as I just got exposed to better quality people that kind of said like this could be an opportunity. It was usually clients. Like I had so many good clients across the first kind of 5 years of coaching that ran businesses, or that were entrepreneurial, or that had kind of some area of like success that they were like, oh, that could be a business. You don't just need to be a personal trainer. And I was like, all right, okay. That's when I started looking at other things.
Yeah. Did you have any like dream ambitions when you were going through high school?
I mean, I used to want to be a musician when I was like from the age.
So you play guitar and that?
12 to 19 or something. I was like, I'm going to be in a band, and I was in a band, and again, one of those things I was okay at and not great at.
Right.
So probably a musician, or definitely like I'll be up front and say I always want to be like in the limelight in some regards. Like I'm an attention seeking bastard, so definitely something like that. But I didn't, you know, most people are like an astronaut or a teacher or a YouTuber. Like I didn't really have those things. I didn't know what I wanted to do, which I think made it hard from that age of like 16 to 20 before I kind of get into personal training. Because I feel like growing up, everyone else around me had like something to go for, and I was like, oh, fuck, I don't know what I want to do. But I knew I was like I know I had like a decent level of intelligence, so I was like, I'll make something work. I did always have a level of like, I'll make something work, whatever it is.
Where do you think the attention seeking side of things come from?
Probably fucking not being loved as a child or something.
So you said your mum and dad split up from a young age, but I know you said a number of times like everyone seems to have like this dark, twisted story. Yours is pretty tame, isn't it? It's like nothing too dramatic.
My dad's not going to listen to this, but like my dad left my mum, and it was a bit of like a hard year or two. But
what age do you go through this at?
14, 15. Right. So like developmental stage, but I wouldn't have said, definitely at the time it affected me, but looking back, I don't have the whole, that transformed my life. It definitely changed my opinions on things, I presume, and shaped me to an extent, but I don't have that. Like I've always said that in podcasts or when I'm chatting to people, I don't have like this happened and it really turned my life around necessarily. I think my life changing was just like lots of micro things. It wasn't one big macro, I don't think.
Yeah, tons of wee things that kind of shape.
I think so.
So when that sort of happens, you get into personal training. So this is back when, like 2013, 14. So you get it, like it's really great to actually sit down with someone that's been out for that long, because I think the online coaching space, personal training, it seems to have gained a bit of hype and traction over the last couple of years for sure. Social media is obviously growing, which is why I went back into social media. I was like, I wonder what personal trainers used to post back in the day.
Nonsense.
And you know what, I need to say that it's quite sad to see, not from your perspective, but I was going through, and you've had an incredible journey from working in Exercise for Less, then making the jump and leap to Dubai early on before it was cool to do and all this sort of thing. But I seen you tag personal trainers that you were working with. And I went to like click on, see if they're still doing it. Sadly, they're not, man.
Nah, well,
I think it's such a shame, man.
Well, like the longevity of personal trainers is probably like 3 to 5 years, and I think that's even quite long. Like, it's maybe not as long as that. So yeah, I thought I was speaking to someone yesterday about this, like the course that I done, the personal training course. I think it was 25 of us on it. And don't get me wrong, I don't know everyone. I didn't follow everyone and whatever else, but the ones that I did follow, none of them do it. The only one that I still keep in contact with is actually my copywriter now. So Chris that I work with.
Oh, did Chris do it with you? Oh, that's quite class. That's a cool story.
Course with me, and then moved into like copywriting and marketing. So he's actually, I tell you, there's a guy called Chris Doran that definitely still, he has a grappling gym in Paisley. So he still coaches. But other than that, now, like one of the guys that I worked next Exercise for Less with still coaches to a really high standard. He's got his own gym in his house and stuff. It's a phenomenal facility. No, I don't think there is much longevity in it for most people, but there can be if you work at it.
And I guess this is where the hype of mentorships and all that pop off. And so what was that like to see? Because I'm assuming mentorships didn't exist back in like 13, 14, maybe in the American field so much.
American was in it, and actually went to San Diego to go to one of them in 2018, 19. There wasn't anything really like that. I think there was the only actual additional education people did would be like these CPD courses. So they go in, and I done like my kettlebells training, and
I actually remember seeing a post like, "I'll learn so much at Commando."
Literally, did you see my stats? It was the worst possible thing on earth. I deadlifted like 190.
Yeah, I seen that.
21 or something. It was a feat of strength, but my back was an absolute banana. And it's horrendous. Now there wasn't really anything. Do you know what? There probably was. I wasn't exposed to any of that really. I think the only exposure to like YouTube, like actual education, was like Chris Guzman and Jeff Nappard and those sort of YouTube channels. So there wasn't necessarily all these mentorships that I seen until Mark Hulse, Phil Graham, Phil Learney, which would have been popping off like 2016, 2017. Right. So maybe like 3 or 4 years after I started coaching, they were getting bigger and they were getting a bit of traction.
Yeah. So your journey in the actual one-to-one side of things, from what I hear, it's pretty successful from a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, I think when I first started coaching, I coached in a gym where a lot of people knew me, and I was athletic. I was in shape for 19, like I had skinny abs, and that was it. But that was the kind of social proof that I needed. It was like, oh, he's got himself in shape, like he can teach me. And I still believe that's a strong driver for people. Like if you want to get strong, go and train with someone that's strong. If you want to get lean, train with someone that's been lean. I'm like a big kind of believer in that side of things. So I did get busy, definitely quicker than the average person. And was some of that luck? Maybe. Was some of it just based on having soft skills that are good for coaching, communication, being a chameleon, being able to chat to different people, 100%. And that's not, that's not luck necessarily. Well, yeah, no, it's
creating your own.
So it was who I was exposed to growing up. I had good family, I had good friends around me that taught me things. I had good mentors in sport and karate and things like that. So I think I developed a lot of the soft skills. Did I know how to coach? Didn't have a clue what I was doing. Like,
but you had the most important part, which is communication and likable.
And hopefully I was likable to most of them. So,
well, I guess from the sounds that this would be the part that starts to scratch that itch of well, a lot of people are looking to me as the guy, the person to go to for their health and fitness, and I think that's where you develop more of a love to it.
Yeah, I think
when does it shift? So Dubai is a buzzword these days.
Yeah,
fly out to Dubai, 10K a month, blah blah blah. Was that going on couple of years ago as well. When did you get caught up in that, or what was the appeal?
I don't think like, you know, like nowadays everyone's like, when I make X amount, I'll move to Dubai and it's tax free, blah blah blah. Like I never moved. I don't think I was exposed to people living in Dubai that were like coaches. I didn't follow loads of Dubai fitness coaches or anything like that. My sister lived in Dubai. That's kind of why I moved. Like I went on holiday once and I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, and it's tax free. I actually didn't benefit from any of the tax free benefits because I didn't live there for long enough. So I didn't really even benefit from that. So I'm not going to be like, I went there before it was cool, but like I definitely went there before it had the fitness buzz that it has. But Dubai's an amazing place for the fitness scene now. I'd say it's got some of the best gyms in the world. Yeah. Maybe Vegas and Austin and places like that as well, but at London maybe. But Dubai, for the size of it, because it's tiny, Dubai's super small, I'd say it's probably got the highest volume of world-class gyms. It's a phenomenal place to like coach and train.
Yeah, because we've had someone on the podcast before that he's over there just now, and the lifestyle does seems a bit crazy, and like you can see the appeal for it. So I've heard you speak about it, saying you actually never really enjoyed it that much, but managed to get back far in your feed and see what was the Instagram post like during that time. From an Instagram point of view, it looked like you were having a great time, great life experience part.
I didn't not enjoy it. I didn't necessarily. I didn't see myself like growing there. Like I grew in a sense of life experience maybe and social life partying. I didn't make any sort of fitness gains when I was there. It's where I launched online coaching, but I knew staying there wouldn't help me build any sort of online coaching because it was like, I look at it as a gap year. Like it was genuinely like a year out.
Yeah, I heard you say that in Canberra.
I had like 4 clients. They all paid a shit ton of money. Like you can charge a lot more out there. I had like 4 or 5 clients and I took some group coaching sessions for like an S&C gym. But the rest of the time I was just getting pissed. Like it wasn't like, so it was good, as in those times were great. Like I was on a high, but mental health wise, it was probably one of the lower years just based on I was hungover for like a lot of it. But also loved like an amazing experience. Like so many good things happened. But I personally couldn't have stayed there much longer, I don't think, because I kind of like got sucked into the party lifestyle for sure.
When did that decision happen? Like when you were over there, was there any
moving home?
Yeah,
so
when did you go?
I initially moved home to get with my ex. So like that was kind of like a big driver surrounding that decision.
Did you leave when you were together?
No, we kind of got together like as I was leaving type thing. It was a really weird situation, and then I was there, and it was like a weird situation. So like that was one of the big drivers for me leaving, alongside my granny and grandpa were dying at the time pretty much. My grandpa's actually survived, so he's good at that. They were kind of passing away. I was with my ex and business was absolutely thriving towards the last kind of 4 months of living there. And I'd been speaking to Dale and Ryan Atkin at the time actually about joining me and doing something together. So I was like, that makes more sense from a business perspective. Like,
you can bring this.
I had like 75, 80 clients when I lived out there towards the last few months.
Was this from an online perspective?
From online, yeah.
And most of them here?
Almost all of them.
Crazy, isn't it?
Like I'd say 65 were Glasgow, and then the rest were like somewhere elsewhere in the UK and somewhere Dubai. But so like I had a thriving business. It was coming back to get with my now ex, and like family stuff. So there was a few things. It wasn't really just one big thing. So it was probably like around the 8-month mark, which was weird because it was actually about then that I started to feel like I'd settled. So I was like, So then I was like, do I move back? So there was a little bit
of crossroads.
And I'm so glad I moved back. Like so glad. I think I would have made like my life a success anyway in some regards, but
for sure.
I love what I've done since moving back for sure.
It's like always one of them, it's like what ifs and whats, but you can't really think like that because I think you were always destined to, like you said, you're always destined to do something.
I think even if I'd never went to Dubai, like I would have kept building up what I was doing here anyway. Like I don't, not to be like arrogant or anything, but like I know that when I set my mind to something, like I've got like that drive to make most things work if I really want them. Like if I want something bad enough, I'm quite positive that I can make it happen.
Yeah.
Apart from like flying or
well, you've got so I always say like experiencing life throughout your 20s is like such a weird thing to look back on. So you've just recently turned 30 as well, and you're looking back and you're like, wow, man, That was one. It was a quick 10 years, but there's tons of like lessons in that. And I want to get into some of the lessons for sure. So, so you come back from Dubai, like you mentioned, like family a couple of times. Were you, so when you started PT and that, where are you living at this point? Out of curiosity?
Started PT and I had my own. My mum moved out when I was 18, so me and my brothers lived together. It was class. So now me and my brothers had a house. It was.
You're the youngest?
I am the youngest. So was I? No, I was younger than that. I was 16 or 17.
Right. Okay.
My mum moved to get with her now husband to Aberdeen. So I lived with my brothers for like 3 years. So for the first 4 years of coaching, I lived with my brothers. No, first 5 years of coaching, I lived with my brothers. Moved to Dubai. When I moved home, I got a flat.
Got your own place. What's your relationship like with your brothers?
Good, pretty solid. Like we don't chat much at all, but when we're together, it's like proper close knit.
Are they in fitness or what they do?
My brothers are the most different humans.
It's always the youngest child. It's always the youngest
on
one.
Planet Earth. One of my brothers wears heeled boots and paints his nails, and he's just the most flamboyant guy ever. My other brother, he's just the most laid back guy on planet Earth. We're just like.
Weird how it can be so many different traits in a family.
Like so weird because I know some siblings that are like quite similar. Like, you know, they're both really sporty or they're both really driven or they're both whatever else. Nah, like my brothers, they're both much more similar with like my brother Stuart has, I think he counted like 500 board games. He collects board games and he actually makes them. Like he designs board games. Like he's right into like gaming and whatever else. I'm not into any of that. Don't mind board games like Christmas and whatever else, but
if there's a drink involved.
exactly. Not spin the bottle. We're not close in like interests, but we're like similar sense of humour and whatever else. Yeah.
Good. So what was it like living then at that point? Was it
my brothers?
Pretty tame, or was it?
Nah, we used to have parties a lot. Like we used to have a Halloween party. It was like a notorious thing. Like my Halloween party was like this amazing party every year. It was something like that. It was like an American like
Project X.
Project X. It was kind of like that. No, it was good. It made me grow up quicker. Like it made me. I think that's one of the things that's allowed me to kind of be a little bit better with finances than the average person because I was paying like rent or a mortgage technically from the age of 16, 17. I know a lot of people.
Oh, were you guys like contributing towards that? All right. So your mum was like I'm leaving. Do you want this house? Because I'm away.
We bought the house off my mum.
Oh wow. Okay.
Technically, my two oldest brothers bought it because I think you could only have two people owning it or something like that.
You just
and I was 16 and probably couldn't be on it or whatever. So we bought that from the age of 18. So when we sold it, we didn't make any money on selling it. So it's not like. I feel like this actually annoys me. So if my mum watched this, I've got a gripe. We basically paid that mortgage for like 4 years, and we sold it. And I think my mum took the vast
got everything.
I don't remember getting a penny back, but living myself from the age of 16 was like
that was it. That was worth it.
Yeah, totally.
That's crazy how like just like general bills can make you grow up quick, like something like that. That structure,
like fuck, I need to I can't spend it all on going out.
So when you were moving back, was that always were you always going to move back on your own? Did you have all that planned out, or was it just sort of
back from Dubai?
Yeah, I'm just going to make this work.
I rented a flat off like a family friend for a year, then I bought a flat. So I didn't really have a plan coming back. I had, like I said, I had like 75, 80 online clients, and then I was coming back to meet with Dale and Ryan at the time to work under my brand. So my plan was just to see what happened with that. Like I also knew that I could go back to Commando, the gym in Hillington, and PT there. I've got an amazing relationship with the owners there. So I kind of like, I wasn't coming back like with nothing. Like I kind of knew what I was doing. I had like a solid amount of clients. If I wanted to do one-to-one coaching, which I think I did go back to do one-to-one for about 18 months. So I went back and done that for another 18 months, done group coaching within that time frame as well, ran seminars and glutes classes and all that kind of shit. So yeah, I kind of had a pretty like solid plan. I'd also PT'd before I left, so it was
exactly.
I kind of
good amount of reps.
Same clients that I had when I left, really. So
you always mention about time served in the industry. I think that's a big thing. I think we, especially with social media, you try to fast track your journey, whatever it is that you're in, whatever field. So you've got 10, almost 10, just about 10 years plus experience, kind of of seeing the shift of social media booming. Gyms opening and closing, different strategies, left, right and centre. Where did online become like this thing that people were starting to do?
Online coaching's it's a really new industry.
5-ish years into it?
I'd say 5 or 6, because when I was moving to Dubai, which was 5 years ago, one of my clients had said, you should you should do this online, you could scale it. And I was like, nah, like the only people really doing online coaching back in the day were bodybuilders coaching, like it was prep clients, it was bodybuilders coaching bodybuilders. There wasn't anyone that was like a lifestyle client, somebody that just wanted a bit of fat loss that had an online coach. You would just have a personal trainer. So yeah, probably like it's genuinely only like 5 or 6 years old, which, because I often have this thing where I'm like, oh, what are you going to do if you're like a 50-year-old PT online coach? So, well, we've never really had them. So, like, it will be a job. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll move and migrate into something else. But it's a relatively new...
Yeah, that's a great way of thinking about it. Because that's one thing that stopped me from PTing.
Right.
I was like, there's no longevity in this because nobody over the age of 30 seems to be doing it. And social media social media wasn't as popular. You had the YouTube videos. Yeah. I was like, I don't really want to be Rich Piana in this game. And I was like, it doesn't really appeal to me. Yes, I like watching these videos, but I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that space. What's your thoughts on just the online space as a whole from a coaching perspective just now?
I think there's good and bad, like absolutely anything in life. I think there's a lot of people doing good things and there's a lot of people doing stuff that's maybe questionable or they're learning. Like I feel like I've done stuff in the past that now I look at and I go, what the fuck was I doing? So I used to be quite judgmental and be like, what are they doing? That's wrong. Like that's the wrong way to do it. Now I'm like, hopefully they learn from it because there's probably stuff that I do right now that in 3 years I'll be like, why was I doing that?
Yeah.
So I think it's better right now than it ever has been because it's evolving. Like
standards are so higher.
And as much as, me and you probably both have taken the piss out of like mentorships and certain people that do them and whatever else, but I think they're net positive. I think they're educating people at least on the business side of things. Yeah. Is there enough courses making people better coaches? No, I think there's a massive gap for that. I know you've got things like the PCFA and you've got some American courses that are really good, but I don't think there's anything really, really good or really stand out in the UK for coaching you how to be a coach. I think there's a lot of like, here's how to business, here's how to market, here's how to do sales, here's how to do onboarding, here's how to do retention and referrals, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Is there like, here's how to communicate with clients, here's how to do a proper check-in. Paul Stando actually, he's developed a course right now to do that, and phenomenal. He's like quite literally one of the smartest people I've ever like listened to. So there is people trying to do it. It's just not as exciting and sexy because it doesn't make the initial sales. But what I've always said, and in mentors, I've actually like tore this down in the sense of like, I've always said, you don't need business coaching initially. You need to learn how to be a good coach because, and I can use myself as a perfect example. I didn't have any sort of business mentorship or coaching for 6 years and I was busy as fuck because I got good at my job and I learned how to be a coach.
Trial and error.
So I think like that there needs to be a bigger emphasis on learning how to be a coach and coaching and exercise cues and dealing with client issues and client communication and being a chameleon, and a little bit less of an emphasis, or at least a paused emphasis on sales, marketing, onboarding. Like that can come. Like you need to learn how to.
I said people are jumping 5 steps before they need to focus on step 1, being good at the job. So I don't want to jump ahead, but I do want to ask you like how MTN might evolve into that space because I see what you're doing with, for the first time ever, potentially bringing coaches in who are not coaches and mentoring them through that. I think that's quite cool how that's going to evolve.
It's some people have asked us like before, like, would you ever run a course? And I don't.
You done it at the start, didn't you? You coach coaches in a way.
We done a little bit. Me and Ryan Holmes kind of ran something. And to be honest, I just jumped on the mentorship bandwagon because as soon as you've got a little bit of success online coaching wise, you're like, I can coach coaches.
Natural progress.
And I just didn't enjoy it. Like I didn't get fulfillment out of that in comparison to working with clients. And this might sound really bad. I think I've said it before, but like I hate putting loads of time and effort into someone that I know that they're doing it really short term. They're not going to do it as a career. I know that they're not going to make those changes. And you could say, give everyone a chance, 100%. Like I'm all for that. But when you've done this for so long, you kind of know,
realist,
you know who's in it and you know who's not. Don't get me wrong. There's actually a few people on the top of my head that are total turnaround stories that I didn't necessarily view as being like, and they're fucking killing it now. But that's why we've never done or I've personally never like done the mentorship thing. Mentorship for me is like, I'd love to mentor the people that work within my brand and get them amazing at their job, and then they directly help me grow and us grow and we grow together. But obviously you just touched on us kind of looking to, so we're hiring the coaches right now, and one of the things that we're considering doing for the first time is having people that aren't coaches right now and taking them through the level 2 and the level 3. The way that we'll probably do it is I won't be involved in the level 2, level 3 because it does not interest me in the slightest. We'll outsource that to someone, and I'd maybe come in and do a little bit of external stuff on the like basics of proper coaching and how to communicate and whatever else. And the reason we're actually doing this is because 5 or 6 clients finished the 12-week peak, and I actually just loved them as people. Like, I was like, this guy and this girl,
you
don't
normally tell traits within
someone
so straight away,
and they work in sales, and I was like, and then they said, how do I become a coach? Like what's the process? And I was like,
Have you had that over the years of coaching hundreds of people?
Yeah, I think like I'd love to count how many people, not that I've made to become a coach, but that we've influenced. Yeah, like we've kind of planted that seed. Like close to 100, I would say, across 10 years. So it's only 10 a year, but like probably close to 100 people. Because even if I look in Commando, the coaches in Commando, there's like 25 of them, and at like around, maybe not right now, but there was a period where 15 of them came through us in some way, shape or form, whether they'd done a program with us or I helped mentor them through the course or whatever it was. So I know that I've got that influence. It's just not where my passion lies right now. But the kind of switch I've had recently is, cool, that's not my passion. Growing my business is my passion. Could that feed into growing my business? Yeah. And now I'm like, maybe.
You're joining the links and all that.
And it might not. Maybe I'll coach and I'll like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I'm not, because I'm quite impatient. So
I heard your story, like you never really like initially got into coaching because you're like, I'm going to make a long career from this. But as that started to grow, it became more of a passion of yours. When did you think, like, was there any future proofing at all? Like, were you ever thinking ahead of like, here's a goal that I have in mind? Or did you ever get into any goal setting or that?
I've always been big in like goal setting, but thinking so far in the future is hard when it's a new industry. I think like online coaching, like you said a minute ago, like don't know any 50-year-old online coaches. There definitely is now, but not until very recently, if I'm being honest. Like one of my like big goals right now is just to own a company for 10 years. Like
I love that. I love the longevity in that. Like it's no, I want to make X within a year. So I want to do this for 10 years, then see what's happening.
And the reason for that is because I look at everything that I've been consistent with for 10 years and I'm like, that's in a good place. Physique, training, like nutrition, like all the things that I've focused on for the last 10 years. I'm like, oh, these are in quite a good like shape. So I'm like, business will be the same. And I look at the last 5 years of like business and lessons and whatever else, and it has consistently, it's not went like that, it's went like this, but most things have improved. Whereas I look at the services improved, my own income's improved, the coach's income's improved, the results that we get's improved. So I'm kind of like, just do that for another 5 years and then see what's happening. I don't have the grand vision of I'm going to build it and sell it. I think it's really hard with a service business to build it to a stage that you can sell it, because I am part of it. I'm selling them, I'm then selling me equally. That could be the next 10 years, like build it to a stage that I'm not the front facing guy of the business. Yeah. It's not a goal right now. Like my goal is not to build it to sell it. What I will say is the way that I'm trying to build it is with the mindset of being able to sell it though, so that I have the systems in place and I have procedures so that if somebody comes in, maybe they can kind of take it over if need be. Or
you can step away for a while.
Or I can step away, yeah.
So I want to get into like the process, because I messaged you a couple of months ago, seeing the effort and the graft that goes into everything in the back end, just being in the coaching space, having a like running this podcast from an editing point of view, from the emails that go out to the copy that goes on Instagram, and seeing what you were doing, I was like, man, you are showing up every single day. And I had to send you a message. I was like, man, I know nobody from like the consumer point of view is going to see the work that gets put in, but you have a very, very strong work ethic. Has that always been the case?
No, I appreciate that. I think so. Like I think from doing sport from a young age, it was ingrained. Like I used to train 6 days a week plus go to the gym. So there was like probably train 10 times a week from the age of 16. So I think having that at a stage in your life where you're so plastic, like the things that you learn, and you're like, oh, if I put in work, I get rewarded. If I put in work, I get rewarded.
It's deeply ingrained.
If I delay gratification for longer and longer, it's like a bigger reward at then. So like I've always been hardworking. I'm certainly not always motivated. I certainly have periods of like weeks and even months where I'm like, no drive, no clarity, don't know what I'm doing. And I had one throughout 12-week peak this year where I was like, I don't feel in a good headspace right now. But yeah, I think I've just seen the positive impact that I've had on people around me, whether that be clients or coaches or my partner. And I'm like, I want more of that. So like maybe a selfish thing, like want more of that for me because it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So part of it's, I think most people are inherently selfish, but you can be selfish in a way that serves others, if that makes sense.
So usually like within and any sort, it seems like you mentioned something earlier, it's like you cannot be so judgmental from the outside. And I feel like the trend of social media is like, 2000, 2001, 2002, it was cool to go their way shit, my way's better type of thing. And it was like a hype thing. Yeah. But recently, like the sad thing about a podcast is everything I say is recorded. Yeah. And I look back and I'm like, can't believe I actually said that, my opinion. Why so naive and so no, it is, you're right. And that's what I need to check myself on. And it's weird that we have these opinions of certain ways of what's been said. But when you look at like self-help and all that sort of stuff, it's usually like a strong driver within. Mm-hmm. What would you say your internal why is? Like, what is it? What's like is there a big impact, or is it here I just like what I do?
Yeah, I don't know, and I think like I've always struggled with this because I've spoke before about how I'm not jealous of people that had like that sub story, but they've got that big driver, and I don't know if maybe I do have something. If I got therapy, they'd pull out of me or something. I don't know, but I don't think there is that one big. I think I said this again recently, so I'm just repeating myself, but I think if you can do something, then why not? I think like I've got quite a lot of self-belief in making my life better and making those around me's life better. And I think probably a big driver is getting to the age of 80 and going, wish I'd done that. So I think like the fear of regret's probably my biggest driver right now. Is there something more internal, more deep down? Maybe I actually need to like sit and think about that. But when I actually think about like what drives me, do you know what drives me more than probably I'd care to admit? Like the opinions of other people, if I'm being honest. Like, and I don't know if that's.
I was about to say that just because what you said earlier on when you started. Like,
but again, I've never been like bullied, so I don't know. It's never came from that. So,
are your dad still in your life and stuff like that? Aye. How's that a close relationship? And that,
me and my dad are super close. He lives in Spain, but yeah, we're pretty close.
Do you think it's maybe like to impress, like look at these achievements and all that sort of stuff? Do you think that's maybe
I do? Like I remember when I done sport, my family would never. We didn't come from money, but we weren't poor either. But everyone else that I done sport with would go abroad super consistently, and they could always afford trips. And I'd maybe do one a year, and everyone would do like 6 or 7. So I remember being like, I want to make my own money. Like that was definitely a driver,
right?
So that I could kind of have my own freedoms, I suppose. Because I remember not feeling even my mum. Like I always tell this story. Like my mum never valued like nice clothes. So everyone had like K-Swiss trainers, right? I had like Gola shoes, right? So like I had shite clobber growing up, but we always used to go on 2 holidays a year, right? So, we didn't like. It's not like they jumped out and things. They just chose that, and I'm so grateful now because now one of my highest values is travel and experience and doing things, and not necessarily spending it on clothes and whatever. So I think there was a driver from a money perspective to like create a better life for myself because I seen my mum when my dad left. Like she definitely struggled a little bit more financially, not to any sort of like extreme, but there was a driver financially then, but. Yeah. I think just being in control. Like, I think that's what I love about being a business owner and having your own business, like being in control of, and I say this all the time, like being in control of your time, even though I work more than maybe the average person, but I can choose to do that. And it's if I want to work harder, I'll make more. Yeah. If I want to work harder, I'll have more freedom at some point. Mm-hmm. And equally, if I don't, then I won't. Like if I don't work that hard, like I had a 4 to 6 week period there, I didn't do very much. So I didn't produce very much, both on an income level and moving the business forward. Yeah. So it's like all on me. And I quite like that. I like that level of like personal responsibility. I'm not one to blame anyone else ever. So I'm very much like what I've got.
Know when to push and when to steal back. What was life like when you first got a big paycheck from your coaching and that sort of stuff? Was there, have you get any moments that you look back on, you're like, wow, like this can be a decent vehicle of...
Yeah. I think like the first ever like intake I done when I lived in Dubai, again, it was £75 and I maybe got 30 people or something like that. Right. So whatever that is, 75, it's like close to 3K. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I got a chunk of money because I'd worked in IKEA, so I'd get a paycheck, but it was maybe £1,700. And then when I was a PT, I'd just get dribs and drabs of 200 quid. Mm-hmm. So I'd actually quite literally never had.
How weird is that, 3K. By the way? Because the spending's like, so weird. Or do I keep this or do I spend it? Like, I'll put it under my pillow. That either.
No, I was like, what the fuck? How do I use this? So that was really the first time I had like a chunk of money. Second time I experienced that was when it was lockdown and we launched something called the Positivity Project, which is the most cringe name on planet Earth. But it was literally a month. It was like an email automation that you bought. It was a month of emails for a week. So it was 16 emails and it was a home workout training plan. That was it. Mm-hmm. And all the emails were about self-development, positivity, what to do because you're locked in the house. And again, I think that was like $12.99 or $14.99 or $16. It was like pennies. It was super cheap. And I remember we got like 200 odd people buy that. And I was like, holy fuck, like I've just sold 200 people something. Don't be wrong, it was a cheap price point. But again, that was probably like 4K from sitting on my laptop.
Yeah.
So me and Chris kind of done that. The next big ones, every launch thereafter, like from a financial standpoint, like have been bigger and bigger. Like the 12-week peak this year was huge from a financial standpoint. Like people can work out what
I was going to say, so people are crunching the numbers and going, wow, David's made this, but maybe talk about the expenses they don't see high.
Yeah.
Like, so, break them down. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I don't really shy away from, like, it was £400+ program and there was 500 people done it. So people can do the maths. It's close to 200K. Mm-hmm. That is 20%. So straight away, you're losing a huge amount of that. Mm-hmm. I have 8 coaches. I had 9 coaches when it launched. Mm-hmm. Huge amount of people you're paying in the back of that. The photo shoot cost me 12.5 grand to run. Huge expense on that. The ball cost me a lot to run. The clothing, the welcome packs were close to 20 grand.
For,
so like,
the clients
for sending out t-shirts, water bottles, supplements, a nice pack, an air freshener, stickers, random shit.
The holidays.
Yeah,
the actual prizes.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like the actual prizes. So yeah, like I'm also not going to sit here and say it doesn't make money. It's
of course,
a business. It does do really well, but it does really get to me because clients do it like, oh, you got this, you must be rolling in it. And it's like the business made a lot of money through that, but here's what it cost. And again, I think that's where. It's funny because Kirsty's, my partner's recently started PTing and she's like, her business expense is really just paying gym rent. But there's a level of like resentment there. She's like, I need to pay gym rent. It's like £4 and I'm like, yeah, no, but it allows you to like train people and like, and she's kind of at that stage where like business expenses kill her. Like not kill her, but like they really get to her. Whereas for me, I don't know, like I'll look at most business expenses as, well, they should be making me more money in some regard. So I just mentioned all those expenses for the 12-week peak. Well, all of them are largely marketing expenses. The holidays are a marketing expense at the end of the day because they allow us to promote the next program where we're going to do something bigger and better. Welcome packs, they're all branded 12-week peak things. Like the postmen, literally, we would post these messages like, what is this? Like I've just delivered 300 of these. So that's marketing. So it's not like I'm not going to poor me, like I need to spend all this money. Like it's to benefit the business as well. But as you grow, like if you run a business yourself, like you'll know like the equipment that you've got, like every time you do something, like I'm sure that every 6 months in here, it looks different. You've added something, there's new lights, there's new cameras, there's new mics, there's new mixers. So it's like, it's a constant evolving, businesses. I don't think you need to spend money to make money, but in a lot of ways you do.
Yeah. And I guess with the type of models that we have is coaches, service-based stuff, it's always like, right, how can I make the product better? How can I make the service better? How do you manage the margins then? Like, so how is that? Because I've heard you speak as saying you threw money at various different things that you thought was going to get you returning. It all comes back to mindset. Everything's got a lesson in it, but if you truly be honest with yourself, it's like, that money could have been spent elsewhere.
Could have learned that somewhere else. How do I manage badly, to be honest? Like that's something I'm working on. I've just started working with a new accountant who does a lot of financial planning and bookkeeping, so he kind of like rolls everything into one. That's definitely an area I would like more help with, because I just spend money and then I'm like, oh fuck, we weren't left with that much, rather than going, okay, here's how much you can spend in marketing. Rather than just being like, oh, we'll spend it and then we'll figure it out later. So that's definitely something I want to work on, as in how to like create more profit and actually keep more money, because I am quite splash cash. But I would say that like you said, I think every amount of money that I've spent has taught me something or got me something. Whether it's because I worked with an ad agency, which was one of the biggest wastes of money.
Oh really?
Yeah. But equally, it's now allowed me to look other places for ads and maybe go just learn it yourself.
A wee bit more homework.
Learn it yourself. Like that was a 16K mistake, but it could have been a 2K mistake because I realized after 1 month it wasn't what I wanted, and I kept going for another 6. And it's like there's things there as well. So I think like all of the things like that. We've worked with a branding company that was a bit like not great. They won't watch this, so it's fine. And again, like all of them have kind of just made me, the lesson from that is like take more time to find these people, or at very least like learn the basics yourself, so that when you're getting into these meetings with videographers or people in branding or marketing or copywriting, you've got a broad understanding, so that they're not just throwing buzzwords at you and you're like, oh, that's what I want. Like
there's two sides to that. So I was there's someone who hires a studio out and he's like of the mindset, he's built a very successful business in the millions in terms of what he takes home, and he wants to just throw money in it and get the result. And I was like, that's quite interesting. You have that mindset, because I'm of the mindset that I'd rather do it myself first to see what does it entail. Simple things like when I got this place, the first thing someone said to me is get a cleaner. I was like, I'll clean it myself. And I'm like, right, now I know it takes X amount of hours, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what it is that's within me that automatic defaults that way. Do you think that's, from your point of view, just being stung a couple of times with?
Probably, yeah. I think what you're doing is a good thing. I think doing it your way allows you to go, right, well, that takes me 3 hours a week. Roughly my time's worth £30 or £50 an hour, whatever it is. I'm better off paying a cleaner. Or you go, took me an hour, it was fine. Like, I actually enjoyed it. I had a podcast on it, didn't really take away from my life. I'm just going to keep doing it. Don't need to rely on somebody else.
Yeah.
So there's an element of that. But I can look at other areas where I've invested a lot of money. My copywriter, Chris, like, he's quite literally the thing that I've spent the most money on ever. And he's also provided me with the highest return ever.
So you say the reason the 12-week peak has doubled from a sales perspective has been the email marketing side of things,
People think we're like big-ish on social media. Like, my social media's pish. Like, I have my social media strategy is like, who's sent me a before and after today? Amazing. That's going to be a good one today. Or here's a quick thought I've had. I don't really have a strategy, which is something that I want to work on and make better. Whereas from an email marketing perspective, we have a like year-long strategy for like what we're doing now.
So where did email marketing come from? So I'm sure I seen a post back in like, I'm sure it was 2018. 2018, 2019. You started posting on Instagram, here, join my email marketing list. That seems to be quite a buzz thing in that mastermind space or growth development space just now. Where did that come from for you? Like, who introduced to that? Was that just
like I done a PT course with Chris. Chris PT'd for like 3 years. Then he was like, I just love marketing. I'm just going to become a copywriter. And then he said he'd do my email marketing for free for 12 or 18 weeks or something like that. He's like, I'll just build it, see if it works. And if it works, you can pay me. If it doesn't. So it was like, it's exactly how I do business as well. Like, I'll do it for free. And if it works, we can keep doing it. And it worked. That's like, me and him launched the Positivity Project, made like,
so is this the first one that really brought
4K or something? Yeah. Right. So that's a big thing as well that I'd like be good to touch on. Like, we had an email list for 8 to 12 months before we sold anything. So it was like 8 to 12 months of 3 emails per week, just value, stories, entertainment, go here, buy these supplements, do these things, whatever else. And then we were like, by the way, guys, we might have something to sell you next week. And 200 plus people bought it. The following month, we done the Fat Loss Project, 423 people bought that. So like, we built like an engaged following without offering anything, and then offered something, which is where I see a lot of business owners, whether that be in the fitness space or any space, go wrong. Like, PTs are the fucking worst for this. They start an Instagram account and they're like, hey, I'm looking for new clients. It's like, nobody wants to work with you.
It's like,
you gave zero value. And Kirsty, my partner, is the perfect example of the opposite end of that. She had a fitness account for like 2.5, 3 years, done a little bit of online coaching, 5 or 6 clients here or there. And then she literally was like, by the way, I think I'm going to leave my corporate job and become a full-time She got 43 clients in the space of 6 weeks. Is her content phenomenally better than anyone else's? No, but she spent so much time posting stuff without having an ask. And then she was like, does anyone want to work with me? 43 people at, X amount of time.
It's so important, and because you see the sales pitch, it's like dig into the pain points and all these sales strategies. It's like, I've heard you refer to this. Gary Vee says it like jab, jab, hook. Thing was it lightning strikes? You said that like 4 times a year, and I really like that frame of mind. And there's something I've never really done on my social media as well, as like be like hard sell, and that done me weirdly enough. Like, it's like, oh, how do you get people to work with you? And people will naturally sort of reach out on their own. So where does like general inquiries from Instagram and then building this email list, like how would you compare it? Like like in terms of numbers, or
70% of our sales through for the so 12 week peak's just an easy one because I have all the metrics on that. 72% of our sales came through email, and then 20 came through social. Of that 28, that's split across 8 coaches. So it's not really that many through the coaches in general. Like, a lot of them are. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people will sign up through email,
see the Instagram, and you don't know where it comes from.
But maybe they went on the email list from a coach or from one of us. So it's harder in that sense. But the power of email is that you own the list. Like, a few of my pals have had their accounts on Instagram shut down. Like 15,000, 20,000 followers, just for whatever reason they get hacked or they said something wrong or whatever else, and they get shut down. And email you own. Like, I can download my list every 6 months and I have it backed up. So it's like, if my email marketing, like, Instagram might not be around forever. Like, look at Bebo, look at MySpace, look at these things. Like, thank
God that's dead.
Bebo's class on
I don't want to see some of the pictures I used to throw up there.
Email marketing won't go anywhere. Like, it's
it's a new age of infinite. It's a new goldmine of content.
So I think that's a big thing, and I don't think everyone should have an email list. It's actually very hard to maintain. Like, I pay somebody a lot of money to maintain mine. Would I maintain it without Chris? Not a chance. Like, I know it's like you have content blocks where you're like, oh, I've not posted in 3 weeks. I don't have that email because I'm outsourcing it. So like every week there's as a minimum 3 emails going out.
So what was some of the best things you'd done to grow that? So I seen recently 12 Week Peak just finished up and you were giving away the program. I'm assuming that was one strategy.
Lead magnets is how you do it. Like,
what's been the best one?
Fat Loss Kickstarter was like 14,500 downloads.
Wow. When you're building this, is this just organic or do you put paid behind it? No,
the only ad stuff that we've done is flopped. So I've been scarred. Like I said, spent 16k in an ad agency, that flopped. Tried to do my own ads when I lived in Dubai, that flopped. I didn't spend much in Dubai, like £500. The ad agency, I think I was spending about 2k a month on that. 500 management fee and 1,500 on the ads.
Wow.
That flopped. Bought a paid ads course recently, which was actually a really good course. It just wasn't, I didn't have any accountability to get it done, so I didn't do much with that, so that flopped. So like my next big thing is to like master paid ads, because like we've been very good organically. So that was all just organic. Hey, we've got something to get it, you need to be in our email list. To join our email list, head here. That's actually it. Like, it's 5 years though, and there's like there's 11,000 people on it, so we do a clean up every 6 months where we get rid of deadwood. So overall we've probably had like 22,000 subscribers over the course of 5-6 years. It's down at about 11k right now.
And you think about this and you're like, wow, that's a lot of people. And I have to remind myself of this as well. It's like your goal there was to get 500 people in the grand scheme of Scotland. It's nothing. It's generally nothing.
It's tiny.
And there's people out there that won't know of MTN. Me as a coach in the space, it's like, how have you not fucking heard of MTN? People don't know Alex Hormozy, and that blows my mind sometimes.
Mate, it's so weird that I was driving here. I don't know this area at all. Like, I actually thought this was 10 minutes from my house. It was about 25. And I was driving through Airdrie and I was like, so weird that you say that, because I was looking at all the houses and I was like, I don't know anyone here other than Heather. Heather's the only person that I know from Airdrie. I was like, I can't even think of any clients that are from Airdrie. So I was like, we're pure untapped here. So I'm going to do some flying.
I know, pay that, but that's where I think there is something to be said with putting money into ads. I know you're big on Hormozy stuff, and I'd imagine you've consumed like lead generation and all that. I ran through that when I was in America, and there's just like these wee light bulb moments now. Fucking hell, man, I need to implement this.
It's so logical. It's so like, oh, that is right.
Yeah, it's like, duh. Like, why am I not doing that? On that subject, from a mentoring side of things, like, who's been inspirations throughout your journey?
Russell Brunson, Chris, my copywriter. Genuinely, like, from having somebody locally so good at marketing, it's been a godsend. Like, he's so underrated as well. He's actually he's wrote for like Matt Fraser, and he wrote for like some big fitness personalities, and me.
The biggest, the only one that matters.
Hormozy for sure. Like, I'm proper like fanboy obsessed with his content, because it's so in line with the way I think. It's just not with the way I do. Like, he says stuff and I'm like, I know that, why am I not doing it? I know that, why am I not doing it? So like, he's been a massive inspiration. Dan Kennedy, I love all of his books. He's been phenomenal. And then if I was to go like more kind of well-known people, Chris Guzman, from an inspiration standpoint, like, what he's done, he's off the rails now. The guy's fucking mental.
Well, I was going to ask you that, because I've heard a lot of people, I never watched Chris Guzman. He popped up, and I was more like Simeon Panda, Calvin Von Moga.
Right,
I don't know, I like their side of things more. And I always remember the realisation of going, fuck, these guys on the natural. What was your experience been like that, especially with having a business that's so before and after, very transformational, life-changing? What's your thoughts on the whole steroid movement?
It's weird, because like, I've never really been heavily involved in like Exercise for Less. There was one bodybuilder there that was open about steroid use, and other than that, like, I've never really been involved with coaches that were like big on it or talking about it. Didn't really have a friendship group. Like, I know people that have taken steroids, like, of course, but it's never really been something that I've been really exposed to, in all honesty. And from people that I followed, like, again, looking at Chris Guzman, Rob Lipsett, Rob Lipsett, when I followed him and thought his content was phenomenal, I genuinely think he was natural, and I don't.
Do you think so? Yeah.
I don't now.
Yeah.
I think he was.
It's weird how we
for,
can be brainwashed to such a
for a long time.
young aspiring coach in the space. Like, I'll do that program and I'll look fantastic. Yeah. I'm sure I read one of yours from earlier. It's like, it was like Tom Coleman and Sergio, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And you're like, give me 12 weeks and I'll look this.
Did I write that? That's hilarious. Well, yeah. When you're that age, you just assume everyone.
No, I was throwing up like crazy stuff. Like, I was like, Simeon Panda, spoke about it tons of times in the show. It's like, I'm doing his program, wait till you see my physique at the end of this. And it's like,
do you know what I think that might have came from? It's like, see, when you're like, I remember when I first started training, I made gains, like amazing gains.
Rapid.
Like,
yeah,
I've never made so many gains. So like,
it's insane.
You kind of think, oh, well, the last 18 months keep going like this, like I will be the size of Simeon Panda, and then you realise that all the gains that you make are pretty much in the first 2 years, and then you don't get any bigger.
You're like, why is this not working?
I'm smaller now, so yeah, I think like from a steroid perspective, I've had one coach apply that was quite open about taking steroids, and I said that I don't think he would fit the brand. Client-wise, there's only one guy that I ever posted, and it was probably my best ever result that I posted, and I was totally convinced it was natural. And then like 2 years later, he was like, nah, mate, I was hanging about him in Dubai, and he's like, nah, I was taking shit. I was like, so you let me post your fucking result? He's the only standout one that I know was like open about steroid use. Our Peak actually was interesting this year because obviously we kind of like, there's prizes and we kind of judge it on people's physiques and whatnot. And we had one guy reach out being like, oh, by the way, mate, like don't include me in the competition, like I'm taking tests. And I was like, fair fucks. Like I actually proper respected that, because there is like, I feel like I've been doing this long enough I think it's quite easy to tell. Nowadays, don't get me wrong, when I was 18, like I thought everyone was natty, but I think it's quite easy to tell. But for someone to be like openly like, oh, by the way, like I take shit, I actually like really do respect that. I think it's a solid thing to do. And I think steroid use in general is more of a, people are so open about it now, to the extent of like, is that a good thing? Like, should you be telling people you're psycho?
It's an interesting debate.
Because they're all jumping on it.
It's an interesting debate, especially it seems to be like the influencer move to be integral and all that sort of stuff.
But they're not really telling you.
And they're like telling them half their stack and minimum dose.
Half a mil test. I'm like, really? You're fucking huge.
Who's the strength guy? He has like the OnlyFans addiction, you know what I'm talking about? Why is
his bicep?
I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was talking about it, and he just went, I've lied to you guys, I relapsed, I'm back on gear. And it's like, no fucking shit, mate. You've been on gear the whole your whole life. He's doing like tons of things.
Yeah, I know you're talking about though.
But anyway, so steroid use is quite interesting, and quite interesting that you say that from bringing coaches into your business, because it ultimately is going to be your legacy in that at one point. Speaking about coaches then, because this must have been one of the hardest things to hire. Like any business I speak to is like, how do you retain talent? And I think it's Alex Hormozi's stuff, he spoke about like having really good talented people work for him, but also then accepting that they're then going to move on to elsewhere. So you've had 13, 14 coaches ended up working for you.
Like over the last 5 years.
And also the recent departure of your best mates. I want to start there, because that has to be probably the hardest hitting one, for sure. Having your closest friends work with you for long periods of time, help you build up the company, and then sort of move on. So how was all that? Because it's weird actually listening to. I was listening to a podcast, and you're like, yeah, Ryan and Dale have been there for the start, and they'll be there for another wee while. And I was like, man, it's mad what can happen in fucking 5-6 months.
Yeah, totally. Like, so like Ryan and Dale have been with MTN for like 5 years. So pretty much Dale since day one, Ryan was a year later. So they've been like literally seen every aspect of its growth. And then they started doing like a group coaching business together. That started growing. They got their own facility. So they've had their own facility for about a year now, and it's gone phenomenal. Like, it's such a good gym. And across the last 6 months, I've just kind of noticed their priorities went that way, and I think like it's been the best. Like I said this to someone else, like it's been the best breakup ever, because it was mutually like both of us wanted it. Neither of us wanted to bring it up, but when we did go bring it up, it was like So it's net positive. I think for both of us, it's going to allow us Sin to grow quicker, faster, better, MTN to grow much better, because I was finding it hard to lead two of my head coaches, the top dogs, that I knew didn't want to be there. It's one of those ones in a culture when you've got two people that are also like really highly respected within the brand that maybe aren't as bought in. Other people, see them and they kind of follow suit. Like it's kind of, that's culture. Like people kind of mold to what everyone else is doing. And if there's two people that maybe aren't as engaged in a lot of things, then people do start to follow suit. So that was kind of where I was like, guys, like, do you just want to stay? Like, is this going to work? And they were like, you're right. Like, it's not.
What was it like when sin became a thing? So, because you've obviously played a part on
super positive. Like, that helps. So, yeah. Like, I was like,
where did that idea come from? Where they just wanted to do more of another group type of thing?
Dale and Ryan have just, they're very good hands-on coaches. They've just always loved like that element of like being involved and being there. And I think there was just also an element of, you know, they'd been working for me for 5 years. They were like, we want our own thing. Just like, I totally get it, because I've done it. I'd be such a hypocrite to be like, no, you stay and work for me, because I quite literally will never work for someone. Like, I couldn't. So from like, there wasn't really a leg for me to stand on to be like, no, you guys, please stay. So there wasn't really an element of that. And yeah, I think
you text Alex, here, mate, make sure you leave them.
Yeah, he actually, it's funny because Alex left in 2 weeks before like me and Dale and Ryan had even spoke. So it's just a natural, like, Alex really wanted to pursue online coaching and have that kind of travel, freedom, flexibility.
It made sense. It's very similar to why James kind of stepped away from this, although I make the argument that it kind of was a similar path, but need to respect his decision to go off and do his own thing.
100%. And I think like values change. Like my values for growing online coaching was travel, flexibility and freedom. And I'm 30 now. I want to have kids in the next few years. Like, do I care as much about travel? I do this year, I'm away loads, but after this year, like, probably not. Like, I don't intend to travel quite as much. And like Dale and Ryan were the same. Like, we call it like the golden era. Like, me, Dale and Ryan, we'd go abroad constantly. We'd go trips to Dubai and Ibiza and whatever else, and we'd be online coaching, making all this money and do all these things. And it was like, I remember like we all went to London, and it was the most mental trip of our lives. Like, me, Dale, Ryan and Alex, it was just 4 days of just carnage. But we all felt so like, it's definitely not the wealthiest we've ever been, but we all just felt like this level of like, we've made it. Like, and it was just like
life fulfillment.
It was just such a cool feeling. And I remember like Dale, when we were chatting about them leaving, he was like, I mean, that's the golden days. Like, that's not going to happen anymore. But yeah, I think like their values have changed. Like, Ryan's got 2 kids. The online coaching thing, he's not as fussed about sitting behind a laptop. I think for him, he likes getting out of the house. Dale's similar. He's wanting to have kids in the next few years. I think they wanted something like secure and stable. I still see online coaching as being secure and stable for them. I think having that gym environment seemed like a better vehicle for that. I personally, like, we've got different opinions on that type thing, but I think both of our decisions serve our values equally.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, it seemed like the right thing to do, because it can also confuse the market as well. Like, when you're bringing people in, it's like, what do these guys do? So what does Alex do? What does this do?
That was definitely the case. And even right now, there's sometimes like, so like Ryan and me had a conversation when the 12-week peak was launching, and he's like, look, mate, like, I'm struggling to really push this because I'm trying to get people in my gym, but I'm telling you that this is the best program. I was like, I totally respect that. So that's kind of, when that happened, I was like, it's kind of ran its course. Like, I can't have, because it's like asking me to like, because we get approached by like other brands and sponsors, and they're like, can you promote our supplements? And I'm like, aye, but it's like the last thought in my mind. I'm like, my business is the first thing that I promote, and then it's like, what else? What other sort of things am I doing? So it's the same with this. Having 2 businesses, it's hard to promote both things.
So what about in the early days? So you started the team with Dale and another Ryan. How was, so this was like the first time that, because you always think, oh, I'll build a team and it'll just be the same solid foundation. They'll go on, and there's always like one person that will move on. What was that like, the first kind of coach to move on?
Well, that was like the biggest lesson, because like I think with Dale and the first Ryan number 1, I'd poured like my heart and soul into teaching them like proper 10-12 hours every week, like on every aspect of, I actually just gave them everything that was in my head from coaching. So when that Ryan left, like, that was like, I was super young and immature as well, but like that was like a pain, that hurt. I was like, I can't believe he's done this. And I was like, Dale, you're so loyal and whatever else. But like, again, it's just one of those ones. Like, he wanted to fulfill his values, which was owning his own business. And I wanted to fulfill mine, which was growing my business. So him leaving took away from me growing my business, but fulfilled his. So in the grand scheme, it was the best thing to happen. It taught me so much, but 100%, I was so bitter about it initially. And I think everyone that grows a team will have that initially, and then you go, oh, this is a good thing. Because I think the worst thing that you can have is having somebody work within your company that doesn't want to be there. So it's not like I say to the team all the time, like, if you don't want to be here, you can leave, but they're all well aware that I would much rather they were open and upfront, and if they've got aspirations to go and do their own thing, please do it, because it doesn't help either of us grow. Them being there and working under my brand doesn't help them do their own thing, and it certainly doesn't help me grow. The only people that I want involved within MTN are people that are really dead set on building MTN, and when it gets to the stage, which it might for everyone, I don't know, that they want to do or have their own thing, I fully support that now. Did I back in the day? 100% not. I was like, you're mine. I definitely don't have that now, and I think it was super nice for Dale and Ryan to come to me, and so many people have actually come up to me and they're like, oh, like, have they left you? Like, how are you feeling? As if they're almost fishing for me to be like, fuck those guys. Yeah. And that's never going to be the case. One, because of my best mates, but two, just because I've grown enough to be like, I'm actually really proud of the fact that they've got to a stage, not because of me, but partly because of like some of the mentoring and support that I've gave them to go and run their own business, which is going to be like wildly successful.
I think the thing you need to reflect on as well is how you reacted with the first Ryan leaving. Yeah. Now how you've reacted with Dale and Ryan. Like, that has to be a real kind of eye opener for you. It's like, well, I'm actually doing pretty good at this.
I mean, there were totally different situations as well. Like, and all the coaches have left for various reasons, or we've got rid of people for various reasons, and everything's been different. And it's one of those ones, like you said, worked with maybe 13, 14 coaches. I'm so new to like hiring and training and working with a team. So new. Yeah. Like, if you look at these big companies, like proper big companies, they're hiring and training hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah,
and I used to work in Openreach. We'd bring in 30 new starts every 3 months, and I'd be doing 50 interviews. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of skills and traits I've taken away from that, but running your own business and kind of going through this yourself, like, what's it like letting go of the very first person? How was that?
I've only really, like, if I'm being honest, I've only really fired one person ever, like, as in, you're fucking up. By everyone else, it's been a nice conversation surrounding, like, look, I don't think this is right for you, and it's not been like a, you know, Alan Sugar moment. I've only really had one situation where I've had to like fire someone, and if I'm being honest, that was quite easy because we didn't actually get on that well from a personal standpoint. With everyone else, I've had such a good relationship with all the coaches that have kind of came and went, so it's been a little bit harder, but usually when it happens, it's at a stage where they both want to leave and I want them to leave. So it's kind of like, it's always been quite nice in that sense. Yeah. So yeah, it's never an easy thing to do. It's not a nice conversation to have, but it sounds terrible, but it's definitely easier if you don't necessarily gel with the person. I'd imagine it'd be much harder if somebody was really taken away from the brand, but you really love them. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Alex starts fucking up and I need to get rid of him, I'd be like, but I love him. He's one of my best mates.
There's too much emotion.
Never happened. Yeah. Also, he'd never fuck up, so we're all good. But
that's how you know you get good people in the business. What's it from a business model perspective? What's been the kind of lessons of splitting pay and paying coaches? Have you paid them as salaried and done as contracted? Yeah. Right. So talk us through the lessons of all that. Like, what worked and what hasn't?
Yeah, I think it's hard because, and I might change the model again, but I've had moments where all of the clients pay me and then I pay the coaches, and then that was an issue because of how much VAT I was paying on payments, and then I'd have
losing money.
I'd have had other times where the coach took all the money and then I took a percentage, and then I realised that some of them had secret clients. So like, that was an issue and a learning curve. And the way that I've got it right now is that like, we're basically the middleman. So get into the intricacies, but like, I have the Stripe account that has sub Stripe accounts on it, and then the Stripe account
you can see
I can see everything that's coming in and out. It's one of those ones, like with the coaches that work within MTN, I want them to have autonomy. I want them to feel like it's also their own business to a large extent. What's not their own business is like the resources that they're delivering, the way that we're doing it, the platform that we're using, how we choose to communicate and whatever else. But from a, you know, you can make as much as you want within MTN. Like, if you've got 5 clients, you'll make less than if you've got 45 clients. Lessons from it all, I don't know, because I think I'm still figuring out. I think there's still things that I'd maybe like to change and tweak. The way that it's working right now has been the way that it's been for like a year, and that's that the coaches are paid and then they pay me a percentage, and the percentage basically covers kind of business consultancy fees, rental of intellectual property, using our systems, using our apps and things like that. That seems to work really well because it gives the coach autonomy. It's like, you can see what's going in, I can see what's going in, and then they're paid. It's almost like gym rent, so that it works well in their head.
That was going to be the question, is that this kind of crossroads that you've seen with some newer coaches come in and they've been like, imagine I could just have this all myself, and they go off and realise that don't have any of the back-end system or the infrastructure.
And that's definitely happened. I know that some of the coaches that have came and left have went, oh my God, like I need to like send onboarding emails. Like we've automated the vast majority of those things. But that's one of the big benefits. And like one of the biggest benefits that I'm working on building is like lead generation for online coaching clients. So like we're phenomenal at getting group coaching clients, 12-week peak, Fat Loss Project, Growth Project. We can do these big group launches. What we want is to build a better lead generation so that the coaches don't necessarily even need an Instagram if they want. Right now they will, but like that would be my dream, to have quite literally like hundreds and hundreds of people chapping at the door to be like, we want to work with you as an online coaching client. And then it's like, because most coaches don't love marketing. Most coaches don't mind posting about it on Instagram, but when I ask them to market, they're like, I fucking hate doing it. I hate being salesy. It's like, I love doing all that. Like I love marketing. So I'm like, maybe we take care of more of that side of things. So that's my kind of goal over the next kind of 8 months, to build a lead generation system through email, lead magnets, paid ads that allows the coach to just be an amazing coach. It's like, go and learn every intricacy of coaching. I'll find your leads, I'll find your clients, I'll nurture them, I'll onboard them. You just coach them.
So at the start of this year, you obviously knew 12-week peak was going to be one of the biggest things that you do. What were some goals that you had written down to achieve this year?
500 clients for 12-week peak. Right. 486, man. 486. That was the biggest ones. The other goals were to actually learn and master paid ads, which I've 6 months out of the year I've not done.
Still 6 months less, mate.
My third were like financial goals based for each of the coaches. So like it was certain income levels for 4 of the coaches and other income levels for the other 4 coaches based on like how much I'd like love them to be earning. And people might go, why are none of those goals like help X amount of people? I'm like, they all are. They're just my way of.
It's almost the same thing.
If they're earning that amount of money, I know that they're working with 45 clients or whatever else. So that was the 3 kind of biggest ones on that sense. Bought a house this year. One of my other goals was to, like, I've always wanted to go to Nashville, so it's not like necessarily a business goal, but we're going there in September. That was the kind of big ones. That was the kind of, the business ones were like the client numbers, learning paid ads, and getting the team to a certain stage, which we're still working on.
Yeah, no, I like that. So you mentioned like going to Nashville and that. Do you have any, like, I would imagine, because you mentioned it earlier on, like starting a families, maybe the next sort of big chapter of your life. You've just bought a house. Getting married, is that something that's on the cards?
Just waiting on Kirsty to ask me.
Is that how it's going to work the other way about?
Doing a leap year.
So what's some of the other, do you have any other like dreams of things that you would like to achieve?
I think I said at the start, but owning MTN for 10 years, like seeing what happens over a 10-year time horizon, it's 5 years in, so we're like halfway. So like that's kind of one of the big ones in that sense. Growing the team exponentially, like I plan on having between 15 and 20 coaches in the next kind of 2 to 3 years. From a brand perspective, probably just better brand recognition. So like one of the biggest brands I look up to in the UK is March On. I don't necessarily follow the programs or do anything, but like what they've done is just so inspiring. Like Ollie March On is an animal, and in every facet of his life, it seems his family life looks. Nice. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's got some horrible problems deep down, but from what he does, like looking out, like his physique, his training, his business, his family life, his social life, people like it's very like he's very inspiring. So from a brand perspective, that's kind of what I'm kind of shifting towards. Like what kind of brand are we building? What's the message that we are kind of portraying? Who are we working with? So that's one in that sense. I'd love to run a festival at some point too, a fitness festival. So
I want to talk about retreats because I think one of your earlier days was that you were going to run like a big Dubai retreat. Did that happen?
Nah.
So talk me through what happened.
That was in the works to happen October, COVID, first year of, what was COVID, March, April. So that was kind of in the works. I'd obviously lived in Dubai, I had so many contacts. It was going to be quite easy to run in the sense of like logistics are there. COVID happened and then I kept talking about doing it, kept not doing it, kept not doing it, and not doing it. And now I've not done it again. Love to do it at some point. Would love to.
Still in the cards then.
I just think like all my life, like travel's been a big part of my life and fitness has been a big part of my life and clients has been a big part of my life. I'm like, that kind of like combines it all. Would love to do it, and I think it needs to happen in the next kind of 2 years before me and Kirsty start having kids and doing whatever else. So yeah, one of our thoughts for next year is the prize for the 12-week peak is, this is the first time this has been announced, is going to be like our first fitness retreat. Maybe, we don't know if we're going to do that. It's harder to work logistically because then the winners need to have the availability off in those specific days. But no, I'd love to run Fitness Streets. There's quite a few goals like that though that I've set that I've not hit. So like,
I seen our post was like, you're going to buy a house in Bali.
But house in Bali and a Bentley.
So what? And I think the whole point of like posting was like manifest it. Like you say it out loud and you kind of need to achieve it.
Yeah.
How come you lost sight of that? Was it just no interest?
I think I just realised it was proper cliche. Like I'd went back to Bali as well, and like Bali's beautiful, but it's also a fucking shithole. There's more like pollution in Bali than anywhere I've ever been. So no, I think that was like, I think at that stage everything that I'd wrote down I was achieving, and I was like, fuck it, I'll write down some more things and see what. And that's the thing. Like I have had goals where I've put them out there, and it's so funny that you bring that one up because so many people. That's stuck in their mind. People that followed me back then, I know that we didn't like connect back then. I've dug deep
down
that post, but so many people actually bring that up. Like the Bentley one's a funny one because a lot of people have said to me in quite a sarcastic, like, "Oh, so when you get the Bentley?" And the Bentley one's just like, I don't actually want a Bentley anymore. I don't like them as much. The Bali one is again like I've changed my opinion. And I truly believe like if I really wanted to still have a house in Bali, I could have a house in Bali. It's 15 hours away. I plan on having a family. I don't want to have a house in Bali anymore.
It's weird, and I've heard you talk about this, and I go through this all the time. It's like, right, I want to take on X amount of clients, I'll make X amount of money so I can buy X amount. And it's like,
do I want that?
Yeah, I really don't care for that. And then I actually get myself so lost. If I mean, being truthful, I want to have this pretty decent financial life to travel and do things, and for my future family with my wife, take my dog to Switzerland and all this sort of stuff, like just experience life. But then I'm like, but why? I don't really care for the materialistic thing, so why do I want to do it? And I end up finding myself just flat. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, totally. I think for such a long time I set those big goals, and they were super helpful because they actually allowed me to work because I had that focus. And I've also had periods where I've had no goals like that and I've been so lost. So I think there's a benefit in setting sometimes like ridiculous goals that you might not even. I definitely did think I was going to have a house in Bali and drive a Bentley. Like I fully. I
still think, to be honest, mate, the character that you are, you generally could have that if you wanted.
Yeah, like I don't
you'd work
like.
towards it.
Yeah, like a Bentley. Like I could get a Bentley. I don't want one right now, but I'm not saying I could afford a Bentley. But yeah, I think setting goals like that for me, there was a period in my life where I needed to set things like that. I needed to have material goals, and it's maybe because I didn't have a strong why. Like I was just like, well, if I set a goal of making X amount per month, then I can afford these things. So it almost became a way to work harder, like having these goals. And now that I'm older and a little bit more mature, I start to question the goals more, like you were saying there, like, well, why do you want that? Do you want that? Because a lot of mines back in the day were like reputation, status, get with more women. Like that was definitely like, if I had a Bentley and I had a house in Bali, like endless opportunities, you know what I mean? So that was obviously going to be a driver when you're like 22, 23, and that's the kind of person that you are. But I'm so happy in my life right now that I'm like, I don't necessarily need that external validation quite the same as I did. Do I still have it and crave it in other areas? 100%. Like, yeah, I like being validated.
So being the kind of people pleaser within you, kind of I'll say attention seeker, but I don't mean it just like caring on opinions of others. What's it been like when shade has been thrown your way? Because when you get to the top, people want to pull you down. Yeah. And as someone at the top of the fitness industry, I would say it goes far as say the UK, but whatever. What's that been like? What's that experience been like?
Useful, I think, because I was actually having this conversation with Ryan last week. I think some of the most successful coaches and business owners are the people that care the most about what people think of them, because we've had client complaints. We've had client complain about coaches. We've had clients complain about me, like various things. If you've not had that across 10 years, you're doing something really, really right, or you're not doing much actually. So we've had things like that, and they've just been like cruxes, or like they've just been what I've used for motivation. Like they've allowed me to make massive changes. They've allowed me to learn from things. Have they felt horrible at the time? Yeah, like we've had kind of things happen that have like felt like, personal attacks or reputation on the business or myself, and it's been like, oh, this feels horrible.
What's been the most hard hitting one?
Getting cancelled when we
this Twitter tweet, was that what that was?
So we went a stag do and we dressed Ryan up and we put rainbow socks on him, and the whole LGBT community came at us. Not the whole, actually. We had quite a lot of like support for it because they thought it was funny. But again, just a learning curve, like stupid, immature thing for us to post on.
What did that do in terms of like how did that affect you?
Oh, it just felt horrible
mentally.
that people thought that of me because it's not what I thought of myself.
Do you think because you're getting all this like positive gratitude and all this sort of things, and it's like, oh fuck, people are,
oh, this guy's a horrible, like, you know, right. Like, yeah, we got some like hate and flack from that, but equally it's, now I can be like, fuck me, like, I'm not glad I went through it. I would not really want to go through it, but I certainly learned things from it. It allowed us to look at like brand expectations, what to post, what not to post, think about things. Don't post when you're absolutely steaming. Also just like other people's opinions on things, and it actually allowed me to go, you'll never please everyone. Because even
you think you're always trying to at that point,
probably and even if you look at like the whole of any community, there's so many different opinions on something. Some people think something's really, really positive, some people view it as really, really negative. I think you're never going to please everyone, and I think you shouldn't try as a business. I think unless you're on Amazon or unless you're that kind of size and volume, you shouldn't be trying to serve the masses.
Companies like Disney pick an actual side though, in that argument.
Like Bud Light,
the
trans
they lost so many shares of this like Americanized.
It also taught me that like bad feelings don't last. Like I felt like shit for 3 weeks, and it still plays in my mind. It's certain, like still plays in my mind. Like, but it also plays in my mind in a positive sense, as in like, here's what not to do, or here's how to go around this a better way. So yeah, like that was tough. Other than that, we've had people say like, you know, they don't agree with what we did. They don't agree with photo shoots.
So this is a question I want to come on to. So photo shoots is like, there's like two sides to this, and I'm guilty of like diving into one side. Like, photo shoots are a load of shite because I'd never done one. Done a bodybuilding show, and I was like, wow, it's kind of, I can see the similarities in it. But then they are two different things. The process may look similar from the outside looking in, but they are two completely different things. What's the kind of pushback been like with that?
Very, very little actually, other than like the odd coach that we see post stuff on socials. But like from a client perspective, like the photo shoot that we do, like, so 300 people done it this year. It's quite literally like, guys, you can do it.
Want to do it.
100%. Like, I don't know if people think we like force it upon people. The reason people do it is less about the photo shoot and more about the day and the experience. Like, it's literally a big party with 300 people that have just completed like a program together. So like, that's a big driver for it. It's not forced upon anyone. Could it be damaging to some people? 100%, but I think you could say that about fucking everything. Like,
you can cherry pick everything. And I guess the way the world is going with fitness fads and stuff like that, high rocks and functional training, athletics, that seems to be the next hype. It's funny looking back. So you've done Tough Mudders and that was a hype at one point. I don't think this hype of high rocks and that will actually go away like the Tough Mudders kind of peaked and then died. I think it is going to be a constant thing. How do you think your business is going to evolve through with that? Do you think 12-week peak will be more of a, right, there used to be a photo shoot, but we're going to do a different one this year, and we're going to do a retreat, or we're going to do an experience?
Funny you say that, because the first year that we done the 12-week peak, you could pick between an aesthetic goal or a fitness goal.
Right.
And then we were like, everyone just wanted aesthetics. Right. So we just made it an aesthetics
double down
program.
on it.
So we when you first done the 12-week peak, you could choose between functional fitness, or you could choose between, I don't actually know why we done it, because none of us fucking train like that.
You just went, fuck it.
I think we just thought we'll pick up more of a
Mate, you did train like that. I've seen like the burpees and the muscle ups. And
I'm an actual athlete. I'm an athlete. But we didn't like,
born for
it was mostly bodybuilding style of training that we done. Will the 12-week peak evolve to that? Nah, the 12-week peak's a physique aesthetics-based program, and regardless of where the industry goes, because I thought this year, I had a worry this year that we wouldn't sign up the numbers, and we done way more. It was the same weekend as Glasgow High Rocks, and I was like, maybe people are more interested in that now, and then we get the most sign-ups ever. So there is this whole hate from High Rocks and functional coaches on having an aesthetics goal, and it's like, that's fine. It's not your goal. Like, I don't really care. Like, we're solving a specific problem. You can solve the other problem. If you want to solve the problem of people getting fitter, you can go and do that. We're solving the problem of fat loss, which is 95% of the UK would like to achieve some level of fat loss.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think people are coming in, so the attraction is fat loss, there's no question about it. Do you think people are coming to your business, 12-week peak, for that, or the relationships in the community that's been built off the back of it? Because I know, speaking to like Shannon, for example, she done it this year, and the group of friends that she's creating off the back of that, like, you're generally creating, I know it's a buzzword, but community, but this is like something that people are massively craving outside in that alcohol setting.
Totally. And if I'm being honest, we've always used the word community to sell the 12-week peak, and it's only the last year, I'd say, that I actually truly believed it when I was marketing it. Used to be like, oh, you get a community, you make friends, and
Facebook
I said it.
I
said it to sell it. I'll be completely upfront. I said it to be like, that's another tick box, like that'll sell it. It's like the usual tailored nutrition plan, blah blah. Blah. So like I said it to sell it, and then after last year, I was like, fucking hell, people have found partners for life. Like, well, so far, partners for a year. Friendship groups have been insane. Like people that are like totally just like that's their new best friends, and I'm like, that's insane. So yeah, I think like if people initially joined the 12-week peak for, don't be wrong, the results speak for themselves. So there's a huge element of if people want that sort of result, they want to do it. But again, that's why I think we sell in a category of one, because you get that result, plus you get the black tie ball, plus you get an optional fitness shoot, plus you get meetups every weekend, plus you get to meet friends for life, plus you get all that. So like, yeah, I think that is a huge part of the selling point of it now.
Yeah, it's weird because you can never split test this and just run in here. You get a black tie ball at the end, see how many people still sign up and all that, because you're like, there's a number that you still
the holidays might be a driver for some people as well. Like there's insane prizes. Equally, some of the things might put people off.
Well.
Some people might be put off by. Some people don't sign up because they're like, I didn't want to do a photo shoot, and I'm like, you don't need to do it. Some people might not sign up because they're like, I don't want to be involved in the competition. Again, you don't need to submit your photos. Like it's completely on you. Some people won't sign up because they're like, I don't want to be in a group chat. The amount of guys that fucking hate WhatsApp groups, they're like, mate, don't add me.
Being a coach isn't a good trait of mine, but the chat side of things, I'm like, why am I taking so long to reply to some people? Like it's there's so many messages.
That's what I sell.
A trait.
I don't know how.
So and that, I don't want to deviate that, but yeah, you seem to be like right on the ball with like, boom, 100 messages. Boom,
I think that comes from caring what people think, like to a really obsessive degree of like, I don't want them to think I've forgot about them. Like, I love you. No, I've always been super on the ball with replies. Like it replies to inquiries, especially like if somebody's inquired with me, like they've been communicated with like in under 24 hours, almost always, and I've always been like that. Probably just comes from like having shit customer service certain places and going, I don't want that. So yeah, from a communication standpoint, like yeah, I'm like on the ball with that. Back to the 12-week peak, what we're saying on that.
So just how the community's grown, and like, is the value in the fat loss transformation, or is it more so on the community side of things?
The hype surrounding it is what sells it now. But the hype is, this is going to sound so cringe, the hype is real.
That's next year's sticker. The hype is real.
But genuinely, like so many people this year, like even if you go on TripAdvisor, is it TripAdvisor? Trustpilot. So many of the reviews are, I signed up because of the hype, didn't expect what I got. So many people said that this year, and I get numb to like nice comments, which sounds super like arrogant, but when you work with 500 people, like you do get a little bit numb to stuff. But the ones that kept sticking out in my head this year were like, I didn't think it was going to be as good as this. Like so many people thought that, and that like for me, building something like that is like genuinely like the best ever feeling. Like so many people saying like that was the best 3 months of my year. I had somebody say like the photo shoot was the best day of the year. It's only June, but
6 months left. They're going to learn paid ads.
Same with the ball. Like people are like, that's the best. Like so Jonathan Sinclair, actually the guy that won it last year, he had never been outside Europe on a holiday, had never been the sort of holiday that we were able to send them on. So I think for me, being able to give people those quite literally once in a lifetime opportunities or experiences, and I want to do that with coaches and clients alike. I want to create those sort of experiences with the programs that we run, but also with the business that I build with MTN. So
last year was the first time you'd done the ball. Was that a pinch me moment?
Mental, yeah. 240 people, I remember. I actually fucking forgot what I was saying on stage. That was hell on earth. Like standing there reading from my phone going, fuck.
Were you nervous at this point?
Incredibly. I was 250 people I was speaking in front of, like, and I public speak a lot in front of 8 people, like my team. I'd never really spoken in front of that.
This was different tier.
Totally different. And I had like 6 drinks, so I was a bit fucking wavy, but didn't drink anything this year before the speech, and the speech went perfectly. But
what was the differences between last year's ball to make this year's ball better?
Numbers, like another 70 people made it look even bigger and better. We spent a little bit more on like table decor and candy cart. We done stuff like that with the harpist. I think just the level of organisation. I think when people come in, a lot of people, like 100 people from last year, come back to the ball this year. So 100 people kind of knew what to expect, which is quite nice because they kind of like they knew it was happening. Preparation for speaking as well. Like I practiced my speech like 20 odd times. It was just better. Like
Alex hits out with the roast.
Bastard, honestly, if you've not watched the roast,
it's hilarious.
You need to go and watch
I'll link it below.
The MTN roast. But just be more prepared. I think I've said this loads of times. Like I wasn't as nervous going in to go and speak in front of 300 people because I'd experienced that thing. I'd stood on that stage and I'd fucked up the year before, so I'd kind of learn from it. And I say that with everything, like confidence comes from competence. I think actually Alex said that in the last podcast as well. It must be an MTN phrase. And it's the same with anything. Like the things that you're the best at are the things that you've done the most of, the things that you're most confident in. You're super confident. Like this has been a great conversation. You've not had any sort of slip ups. You've not had any like you've delivered this like perfectly from a host perspective because you've done it how many times?
This is you're going to be the 201st guest. 201st episode, so that's quite crazy.
There's a reason you're so good at interviewing and you're so good at generally just having conversation because you've
Time
done
served,
it more than most people. Maybe there's a natural thing there as well.
Maybe I don't know about that, but yeah, it's always I like you. So your phrase is like better than yesterday, and I think that's an important value to have as a coach. Like something, and you mentioned earlier on about there's not much education out there from training you as a personal trainer to then getting you in the world of business. I followed a guy called Jason Phillips who has a nutrition company, and he was one of the first that broke into that space to say, look, we'll get you trained as a nutrition coach. We're also going to give you like the business element. So he has like forget what it's like Business Institute or whatever. And that course was, and I was like, oh, this is in our sales marketing. He goes, we're going to teach you how to be a good fucking coach. We're going to teach you our check-ins and all that. And that was the first time I was like, wow, this is actually speaking to me. I actually feel like this is the way to go. Do you see you tapping into that space more and more? Maybe. I think like we touched on at the start of this, like the way that we might approach and find new coaches is through mentoring people from the get-go. It's going to be a win-win, I guess, because I don't know if you see the likes like Alex, Heather, like the head coaches, there's going to be X amount of time served there. And there might be a higher risk that they go off and do their own thing when it's nurtured within, it's in your business for longer. It seems like a smart decision to actually do. Heather and Lewis, who's our Edinburgh based coach, they both came through, they done the first 12-week peak and they done the coaches education thing that we done, so they were like nurtured that way. So that's kind of what made me go, actually this could work. And there's also an element of potentially taking our clients that want to be coaches and qualifying them as coaches and mentoring them, because they've quite literally went then through physical and mental transformation from an aesthetic or from a lifestyle perspective. And then you're also going, by the way, I can make you more money, I can give you more time back, and I can give you a job that you love. There then becomes that element of like, you gave me all this, like, thank you so much. There's that whole gratitude, loyalty, whatever else buy-in. So yeah, it might be something that we do. It's not MTN coaching as a fitness and lifestyle coaching company first and foremost. It's not an education company right now. Equally, those things can feed into each other. So maybe, What's the impact you want to make then? Do you think that far ahead? Yeah, I've done like a 15-year like plan, which is like 1 million lives impacted, but that's quite literally because a million sounds a million. I'd literally think about that this morning. There's a guy who hires the podcast out, that same guy, the millionaire, but he's really good now when I asked you about your why. I gave a very much the same answer, and I still ask myself, I was like, am I telling myself this because it's nice to say it, or is it truly what I want? And he just kept going with it, and I was like, mate, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. And he's like, you're thinking too small. And he's one of them that I would throw out a goal of like, I want to train 100 people this year. He's like, is that it? He's always like, so I was like, what's your goal? He's like, I want to buy a castle. And I'm like, fucking hell, this guy is operating on a different level. What have you reversed engineered from the million? I'd love to build my own house. Like that's something I'd want to do at some point. And from the million clients. I have ran the numbers based on the number of people we'd have to work with each year in order to get that. I actually can't remember. It's on. I actually have like a company vision and value, like core values thing. So it's on that. So I don't know actually if anyone's listening that is into business. There's a book I read called Traction, which is by Gino Winkman. It's the best top 3 business books I've ever read, because it quite literally tells you how to structure your business. So starting with your core values, moving on to core values, company vision. There's like 8 things that it asks you to like figure out: 15-year target, 3-year plan, 1-year goals, quarterly rocks. It like breaks it all down, and then every quarter you like break it down and look and see where you've got. It's the most useful business book that I've ever read, because it's almost like a workbook. So you go through it and you kind of fill in. It's fucking phenomenal. That's where I have like my 15-year target based on that, and it asks you to like reverse engineer and break things down. So what else is on that? The 15-year target for the business was just the 1 million lives impacted. What else do I want to achieve? Like I think, like I said, like the brand recognition and the almost having that sort of march on scale of like,
not March Run's a household name, it's certainly not, but in the fitness industry, it's almost a household name. So kind of having something to that scale would make me like, hopefully, maybe happy. I don't know.
See, if I'm being honest with you, I heard you say March on Adam's podcast. Never heard it before.
Never heard of March On?
No. Swear in life.
Really?
I was like, what's that? And I looked at it, and then I was going to bring it up again, but I was like, maybe it's not that. But the fact that you brought it up, I'm like, well, that is quite a common thing. But in fairness, I am.
You're not.
I'm
like,
weird. I'm very weird when it comes to that sort of stuff. James used to give me.
You follow him now?
Yeah, I followed him off the back of the eyes. I seen it, and I was like, well, I've never actually.
That's so funny. Like, but again, like you said, Hormozy. Like, how many people that I know really know who Alex Hormozy is? 10, 15 maybe. Yeah. Because I know people in the marketing space, but he's everywhere in my eyes.
It seems to don't know his targeting.
He's obviously exactly.
What's the other 2 books? You said the top 3.
One of them's Offers, Alex Hormozy, and the other one's Traffic Secrets, and Russell Brunson's got 3 books that are all something secrets.
Right.
And that's where
they were good.
Gym Secrets, I don't know if you've seen Gym Secrets, it's kind of like off the back of that. I think they might have done something together, him and Russell Brunson.
I think I've done Gym Secrets about 3 times before. I was like, and every time I listened to it, it was like, why am I not doing this? And then life would get in the way. I'm going to listen to that again because I had a lot of inspiration. I was like, I need to fucking do this.
So good, that book, because
very good book.
Can I do some stuff with Commando, like from just business stuff with them now and then, and I was listening to that when I was helping them develop things, and phenomenal book. So yeah, business wise, Traction, both of Hormozy's books, and then I think it's Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson's probably the 3 that I like from a business perspective. There's other ones that are like personal development and goal setting and whatever else, but that's the 3 kind of business ones. So
you mentioned recently that when you reflect, you realise that you've done incredible things, but you're never truly satisfied. And someone that seems to be a very close relationship in your life is your grandpa, Dennis. So you say, like, from the outside looking in, is he like the most fulfilled person that you've ever came across?
My granddad's life, like, have you seen The Notebook? So like his like love stories like that.
Oh, is it?
But he's only ever been with like one woman, which is my gran. Only ever kissed one woman. So he tells me, he might be lying. Went to the war.
Going home with people at 12-week peak.
Either way.
I seen him up dancing.
My granddad. He was in the army, like fought in a career or something like that, came back, got with my gran, ran an upholstery business or worked in an upholstery company. You heard of Salon Services? It's like a hair thing. He like started in the startup for that, bought a garden centre, opened a garden centre, ran a garden centre, sold a garden centre.
Wow.
Was a carpenter, so he made rocking horses, like high-end rocking horses that he used to sell for like 5 or 6 grand. So he's always had like businesses, and he's just like the most, like, anyone that knows my granda, and I'm sure loads of people say this about their mum and dad and their gran, and the best person ever. But like anyone that knows him is just like, he's just the epitome of like a gentleman. Like everything about him is so gentlemanly. Like everything that he does, his mannerisms, is just his whole demeanour.
Is someone you look up to then?
Oh, massively. And it's funny because he when I was growing up, I never wanted to be in business. I didn't really see him run the business. I was a bit too young, so he wasn't like a driver in that sense. But now, being a bit older and being able to speak to him about how he ran his business now.
When did you realise it?
Not like when I was moving back from Dubai, because he was like he was really close to dying like 5-6 years ago. I think it was pneumonia and stuff like that. So I was like seeing him a bit more regularly because I was living in Aberdeen at the time. So I seen him a bit more. And I was like taking him, went for a pint of Guinness, and we were chatting, whatever else. And he was like telling me about his business. And I was like, fucking hell, I didn't realise the money he made. Like I always knew my granddad was quite well off. He had a lovely house and stuff, but how well he done from a business perspective. And I was like, wow. Like,
it's weird when you're chasing mentorships, books, and you're like,
go and speak to my granddad.
My granddad's done this all. And they're some of the best experiences to learn from.
Yeah, even just the wee things he says, like every time I like end a call, he's always like, treat that girl right. Do you know what I mean? He's just like got those little like terms that he'll always hit out with, and they're never like these big impactful speeches, but it's just these little like treat her right. Like,
did your gran pass away then?
She passed away the year I moved back from Dubai. She passed away like that kind of winter, and they were like genuinely like, that's what I mean, like the Notebook kind of love that they have. It's an amazing film. Don't come at me.
No, Jill eventually convinced me to watch it, and I was like, that's a load of shite. And I was like, I'm not great.
Like
I'm not trying.
Yes, I love you. I love some of those films. I dynamite. I also love Transformers. So yeah, when she passed away, we were kind of convinced that he would just kind of, people die of heartbreak kind of thing. But he like made a really good recovery, and I think he was ill because he was looking after her. She was really, really unwell. She had dementia and stuff. So he was like looking after her.
Oh, proper then. So it literally story.
Like
wow.
so, it's so weird. Like she like,
must have
dementia.
And was that hard for you guys as a family?
That was like, that's one of the, I think that's the worst disease. Like I'm sure, I think like I'd rather have a crippling physical disability than dementia, or watch anyone in my life get dementia. I think it's a horrible disease. So that was definitely tough. But watching his like comeback again, that was inspiring. Like the guy was like 84, weighed I think 6 stone at the time. He's back up to like 11 stone right now, proper healthy, so mobile. Like that was dancing at the ball with like 7 different women. He wouldn't touch them though. So, so no, he's been a proper inspiration. Like, he's a legend.
What's some things that you want in your life that you don't quite have just now?
Family, for sure.
Why don't? Yeah, well, I guess it's finding the right partner and all that sort of stuff.
Like just time, like time wise, probably. I always said I wanted to be a really old dad. I always said, like, my dad had me at 39. I always said I wanted to be 39 before I had kids, just because my dad was 39. I think because I was like, I want to experience more things by that stage. Now I've got older, and Kirsty's similar. She's the same age as me. She's coming up for 30. So like, there's obviously a ticking clock for girls that you know you need to be a bit more mindful of. So I've kind of brought that idea forward a little bit. I think like I definitely want kids, and I think every parent probably does this in a respect, that they want to give their kids the things that they didn't have. So for me, like, I don't think I had loads of support for sport growing up. My parents kind of just let me do it, and it's fine. I didn't have that. So for me, like, sport's going to play a big factor in my kids' life, providing that they like wanted. I'm going to force them. So when I have kids, that's probably I think it's one of the biggest things you can do in your life. Like, no wrong, not everyone wants to have kids. Want to have kids, want to continue to grow the business. From a travel perspective, want to keep going to new countries, visiting new places. Build my own house is definitely a goal. But
have you got an idea where?
We've just moved to Cambuslang, and we got to Uddingston quite a lot. I like Uddingston, but so I probably won't build a house in Uddingston, but somewhere like that. Like, I'd love to live somewhere that's got a wee kind of town centre. You can walk. There's a wee pub. There's a cafe. There's a restaurant. There's a butcher. I like that. Cambuslang is. My house is nice. I'll leave it there.
Area.
But other things in life, like, I said this because, like, you know, people are really scared of dying. I feel like I don't want to die, but if I died, I'd be like, I've done some cool things. I'm okay.
Like as of now?
Yeah, like if I died, if I get hit by a car and I walk out here, I'll be okay. Like, I wouldn't be, like, I'd be devastated at leaving people behind, but I'd be on a level of, like, I'm okay with the things that I've done. Been amazing places. I've travelled fucking so much, seen amazing countries and done cool things.
Do you feel you missed anything though? Because this is always you've been in a long-term relationship before, Kirsty.
Yeah, all my relationships have been like 2 years. Kirsty's the first to make it past that. So.
I'm sure I've seen a post that you put up in the last year. So she's kind of broke through that. Was that challenging, pursuing your business goals and try to balance the relationship at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, not this relationship, I don't think, because I think I was in a really good place when I met Kirsty from a business perspective. Like,
there's no rise and grind.
There wasn't that total, like I used to live in a gym. I used to live like a client at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then maybe like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like,
and then you come home and there's zero social battery.
I wouldn't have wanted to be in a relationship. And don't get me wrong, me and Kirsty like definitely struggled when I was launching the 12-week peak, because my full time, energy, effort, attention. I still like a lot of time myself, and actually that's one thing that I'd actually like more of. Me and Kirsty spoke about that, and that sounds brutal. It'll be like, I want time away with my partner.
I'm with you. Right. Jill actually said to me, know what you need to do, because I've spoken about loneliness in this podcast. Me and Jill been together for 12 years.
It's insane.
So we've been together since we're 19, and when she goes away and like different trips and stuff like that, I get this period of loneliness, and I'm like, wow, I've got tons of clarity. I was like, maybe I need to implement this into my week.
Yeah,
and she
boredom
said,
as well.
She literally said to me, she said that you and Cooper should like take a tent and go camping for a couple of days, just like, because I was saying like feel a wee bit burnt out, various different things happening, and I was like, you know what, I actually think I might need that space.
I used to travel so much myself. I just used to go to like Lanzarote, or like just go away, like go to surf somewhere, or go and like do something. And two things, like, I love being on a flight with no Wi-Fi and working. Like, I love that. I love being able to just write and focus on like planning things and reverse engineering and looking at things. But I also just love, I went to Belfast recently myself, and I didn't do anything. Like, I just walked about and ate and drank and had a few pints of Guinness, and went back and watched what I wanted to watch on Netflix in a hotel room. And I was there for a course. I wasn't just away on a random trip. But like that, I love that. Like I love spending time with myself, and I think I'm able to give more to her when I've had that as well. Yeah. So yes, it's a selfish thing, like because she's the opposite. She hates being alone. She fucking hates, like she'll say she doesn't, but Kirsty absolutely hates being herself. Whereas I thrive on it. Like I was actually going to go away this weekend, just Aberdeen, to my family stay there, and my mum always laughs because I come up to, I don't see my mum that much, see her like 4 times a year or something. She always laughs because I go and visit her.
It's a typical son, isn't it?
But like I visit her and then there's a Starbucks next to the house, so I like literally come up and visit her.
How you doing?
Go and work all day, and then come home and have dinner, and then I'm quite bad actually. I'm probably a bit ignorant, but like I'll just be like, I'm away to bed. She's like, it's 8:30. Like you're here to see us, and I'm like, okay, I'll stay up for another half an hour. And we sit and watch telly, and I'm like, right, I'm going to bed.
Do you get any guilt from that sort of stuff, or are you quite at peace with, I need to do this for me?
No, I think my family know what I'm like now. Like even all my family used to make jokes about I'd go for dinner and I'd eat dinner and get up and leave because I'd be up early or
you'd be working.
Yeah, or just like I don't know. Like I'm not like you asked if I'm close to my. I'm not insanely close to all my family. Like I don't feel the need to. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people visit their family because they're family, not because they want to spend loads of time with them. I like just visit my family when I really want to spend time with them because I've not seen them in a while.
Yeah, because they are family at the end of the day. But it's that cheesy saying that you don't pick your family, but you choose your friends and that sort of stuff. And your friends are usually those deeper connecting relationships.
My dad's side of the family, my dad's getting 7 older sisters, right? And they're all like 70, 80. They're all like significantly older. And I couldn't tell you the last time I spoke to one of my cousins. I just don't speak to that side of the family.
What do you want your family to look like?
The opposite. I want such a like.
It's weird, isn't it, how that happens?
And it's not because I've like really felt like I've missed out. Like I've loved my family life, but I want loads of kids. Like I want like at least 3, maybe more, but it might be with 2 different wives. We'll see. Say that to Kirsty, so I like it. Yeah, I'd quite like to have. You know, I never really was close to cousins or anything like that. I'd quite like to have that kind of dynamic, and I'd like quite a lot of like kids because I have like competition in the house as well. Like I used to compete with my brothers and fight them and whatever else. So I think from a family perspective, I'd love to have like that sort of like.
I like that.
You go and do things and you go and I think that'd be cool.
So we'll need to speak about your organisation skills and we had Heather on the podcast a long time ago, and James been my co-host for a long time. Yeah. Very ADHD, very scatty, very erratic. When I met Heather, she showed up late for the first time as well, and I was like kind of expected and that sort of stuff. But she spoke very highly of like you helping her and keeping her kind of streamlined. Where did you learn that from? Is that just something you've always had like a natural gift of?
Nah, I mean, like I said, I've been coaching for 10 years. I think when you have one-to-one clients and you have 9 of them a day, you naturally have a diary. Like you need. Like I've always used Google, like quite literally for 10 years, or I think I have used Google Calendar always, like since day one. Right. So like I've always used it just to put clients in. So it was always just 8 a.m, 9 a.m, whatever else.
See, the first time I heard it was Mark Coles's book. Yeah. And I remember him saying like, I will schedule, this is when I do my content, when I do this. And I remember having my PT diary, and I was very much like you. I'd have like tiny half an hour, 45-minute window at random time in the afternoon, because I would take any client at any time, as and when I could. And I was like, I'm just going to leave that blank. I never actually took that far enough and put something in there. Yeah. But I joined your, what was it? Google. So is that just something you've been known for? They just got better and better and better?
People have always just known me to be quite organised with my time. Like I'm always on time. Like I'm always early. Like even showing up today, I was like, I'm outside.
Let me in.
So I've always been super organised. And I think it's because I hate when people are like late for me and like fucking Heather.
She knows. She knows.
She's better than she's ever been. But again, my brain's just different from hers. Like we're like structurally, I'm sure there's different things going on. I've always been super on time for clients. It's always kind of bred from that. And then when I switched from one-to-one coaching to online coaching, I think the biggest shift for me was like, what do I fill my time with? Like, what does this hour look like?
Convince yourself you've got a job and all that. Yeah.
So in the past, it was like, cool, when I had a client, I was working. Now I'm like, right, I've not got clients. So what is work? Okay, it's communicate with clients. It's posting on social media. It's creating content. It's writing copy. It's looking at finances. It's doing those things. So then I started to replace the time blocks with that. And then nowadays it's my time's literally, if I get 3 or 4 hours of like solid work in the morning.
Said that at the start, yeah. So it's quite interesting how that's evolved then, like and you can manage it better. So I guess it'd be silly not to even scratch on this or touch on this part, which is, what is like a routine, or what's the traits and habits that you have today that you didn't necessarily quite have a couple of years ago?
Sticking to my Google Calendar and being super organised with it, and like when stuff's in the diary, like doing it. Not every day, but like the vast majority of time. So if like something's there, I will tend to do it. Not meeting people early in the morning. Like even you text like, what time do you want to do? I was like, later. It's good for me. I feel like for me to get my best work done, it's the first 2 or 3 hours. Kind of tail off that last 4th hour. That's when I start scrolling and whatever else. But that's probably a habit I stick to. I do NSDR quite regularly, which is like a sleep meditation thing.
Yeah, I had it on the questions to ask you about, because you always get your face mask and then do that. So where did you come across
Andrew
that from?
Huberman. So like I go through phases of I find somebody and I like attach myself to them and I learn everything about them. Like Huberman, it's so funny because I actually listened to Huberman on the first ever podcast that he was on, and it was Rich, not piano, Rich Roll. It was a Rich Roll podcast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was the first podcast Huberman had ever been invited on. He didn't have his own podcast. I randomly listened to it when I was in a really bad headspace, because it was about changing your neuroplasticity and like learning and creating new behaviors and whatever else. And I listened to that and I was like, this guy's fucking amazing. And like then I just binge consumed his stuff. But anyway, one of the things he spoke a lot about was NSDR, which is non-sleep deep rest, which is basically like a guided meditation. It's almost like Headspace or Oak or what's these other ones, Headway or whatever it is. And it's like a 15 to 20 minute recording of somebody doing a body scan. So like you'd sit with your eyes closed and you say like, focus all your energy into your fingers or your hands or whatever. And the first time I done it, I tell everyone this, but it was like a fucking outer body experience. Like it was like a taking ecstasy or something. Like my full body, like I was in this weird third state of consciousness where I wasn't sleeping, but I wasn't awake, and my full body was like numb. And then I woke up and I was like, I need to do it again. And I've had 1 or 2 of those since doing it, but I've never had that same experience from the first time I done it. And I think a big part of that was how much I'd researched what it was going to do for me and the benefits. And I had this belief of like how amazing it was going to be.
Manifesting it in a way.
And it was the first time, maybe that was a factor.
Newbie gains.
And now it's just something I do maybe 3 times a week. It's just like a 20-minute sleep meditation. Because I used to nap a lot and I used to wake up from naps feeling like fucking dog shit. And I feel... It's like a new day when I wake up from this. It's like, because you're not falling into REM sleep, so you're not falling into that deep state of sleep. It's like 20 minutes of like pretty chilled, and then you wake up and it's
energy boost.
It's almost like you've woke up. You know how good you feel when you wake up naturally with no alarm? You're like,
ready to go.
It's like that. You're ready to go.
So I'm a napper. Sometimes those naps are 3 hours. Sometimes I'm not even kidding. But I've woke up and I'm like, man, I slept so hard there, and I was like, I needed that. I feel good. It's the beauty of having your own business. I'm just going to work till later. But I try and be regimented with my sleep from like 8, 9 o'clock at night up 4:30, 5 in the morning. That's because when I wake up, it's like, right, I'll actually work out first and then I go into So it's just something I've done from my early 20s. And I think whatever you do, for a number of years, it just seems ingrained in you. But I seen you doing this sort of stuff now, and then I listened to Huberman podcast with the 15-20 minute nap windows, and I was like, my Garmin, right, 20 minutes, I'll no sleep anymore in 20 minutes. And I woke up before it and I was like, wow, I feel refreshed. How long have I been sleeping for? And it was like 17 minutes, and I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. I need to try it. You try it for sure.
I'll send you the ones that I do. Like that again, like you just feel different after it. Sometimes I have ignored it and then actually slept after it because I'm so I'm so jumped right now. That's something that I do from a routine perspective.
So it wasn't a gateway drug to like star signs and all that sort of stuff?
I'm not rubbing crystals in my nipples or anything. Not yet. I don't think I have any weird shit like that. I don't really have... nothing.
That was probably the weirdest. Like, but I get that.
Oh, NSDR is weird. Like when I tell people I do it and I put a photo up wearing a mask, they're like, "You're a fucking weirdo." I don't think I have any sort of like. I'm not, a cold plunge now and then, have a cold shower now and then, have a sauna now and then. There's nothing really like that I'm like, oh, this has hacked my way. NSDR is one of the biggest things that I've done from an energy perspective to like give me energy back.
You regimented, so you've got pretty clear boundaries, and I guess that's the fortunate space of being able to build the lifestyle that you want to build. What's been like the early day boundaries that you put in place to?
Early days I didn't have any, and that one allowed me to grow, and 2, I had issues with relationships. So like early days I didn't have boundaries in the sense of like I'd reply to you at any fucking time. Like I'd be on my phone every waking minute. Equally, it allowed me to build a reputation for quick replies. He's always on his phone. He's going to get back to you, and super responsive. but that like had an impact on certain relationships back in the day. Now it's like I generally don't use my phone, or sometimes check it. I don't use my phone till like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And as soon as I'm in the house at night, I don't use my phone. Or if I do, I have another phone that's just got like Instagram in it for like scrolling, but there's no like work stuff on it, which has been good because it's like Kirsty's obviously just transitioned into like working for herself, and she's not got those boundaries yet. And now I'm seeing how what I was doing back in the day was annoying for, you know, other people in my life. Like I was always on my phone. She's a bit more like that now, but I've got karma. I've got a lot more understanding in the sense of like, yeah, it can be a bit frustrating, but I'm also like, you're 6 months or 6 weeks into building a business, like you need that at this stage.
Yeah. What does low days look like for you? You mentioned you had a couple this year.
Yeah.
What was that coming from, like lack of like
clarity,
fulfillment or clarity?
Clarity on business is typically when I feel the lowest. On top of that, like if I've been out getting mad with it the weekend, like I'm not shy to like want to party now and then. And it's funny because back in the day I used to be like, why do I feel so shit? And I'm like, you drank for 3 days in a row, like that's maybe why. That's obviously a factor, but outside of that, like I have had days where I've just felt really low, and I'm like, why? Usually, what I've kind of put it down to is lack of clarity in business, knowing that I need to make a business decision and not having made it. So like it's playing in my mind. So like Dale and Ryan recently was really on my mind. Like I need to speak to them about they're my best mates. If they leave, am I going to lose them as my mates? So like that was on my mind. So that was one of the things that I was feeling quite low about. Usually clarity, like where am I going? What's next? Sometimes after like something like the 12-week peak launches, I didn't really experience that this year, and I've certainly
I can imagine with the high feeling, there's a flat feeling,
and I've not experienced that post. So it's almost just finished though. It only finished last weekend. If anything, this year I'm just like I've got clarity again. Like I know what I'm doing, but there's just periods, October, November. Sometimes like I definitely have suffered from like seasonal effectiveness disorder.
Is that why you book a holiday?
That's why I go away a lot. But usually, like when I look back, I'm like, right, when have I been the lowest? Other than like life circumstances, breakups, deaths, whatever else. It's usually like lack of clarity on something, whether it's lack of clarity in a relationship, in like a romantic relationship, a personal relationship, a business relationship, or lack of clarity on life or business. And that's kind of what I felt during the 12-week peak. I was like, what do I want to do with the business? Where do I want to take it? I'm like, I'm going to lose 2 of my coaches soon. Get rid of another one during the 12-week peak. I was like, right, do I want more coaches? And that's why I said I was like, I want 15 to 20 coaches because I've got the clarity on what I need to do from a business perspective.
Must be why that book was so powerful. 15-year plan, reverse engineered. Clarity's got to be there for 15 years.
Totally. And it's actually, I looked at it's called Traction, like what the system is. And I looked at that when I didn't have clarity and I was like, right, okay.
That's what I need.
I think a hard thing as well when you feel like that is, I think sometimes when you become more educated in personal development and goal setting and all these things, and people say, well, why do you want that? Oh, fuck, I don't know. I just wanted the money. And they're like, but why?
It forces you to go to a deeper
do I even
level.
want it? And I think sometimes that's why I've always said, like, some drug dealers make amazing business people because they've not got that self-awareness and they're just like risk, like they don't give a fuck.
It's like at the start of PT, I'm just going to take as many clients as I can, and you're like, this is great
because you don't question it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So you're just like oblivious to anything else. So
it's almost to be naive again. Absolutely. What do you think you're missing in your life then just now? Like,
hobbies or like switching off time. That's not like I watch a lot of YouTube. That's kind of like my main hobby, if you know what I mean. Like I'll probably watch like 2 hours worth of like comedy or cooking shows or random shit on YouTube. I'd like to learn how to play tennis or snowboard or surf properly. I'd like to play guitar a little bit more. So probably just I have like enough spare time. I'd just like to use it better.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing that I'm missing. I was missing like a fitness goal and focus for a while. I've kind of got that back again. I've got a bit of a buzz with like what I'm doing with my own training.
High Rocks, is it?
High Rocks in Paris. After me slaying it for a year. It's funny.
You doing a solo or?
Nah, I'm doing it with one of my clients, Gary, who's the fattest fit guy I've ever met. And he won't mind me saying that, but he's ran a 5K at 115 kilo in sub 25 minutes. He's ran a 10K at 110 kilo in 50 minutes.
Insane.
He's done a half marathon.
Just a mass monster.
Just like can just run. He's not even that. He's quite muscular, but he's got a lot of body fat. He
just moves well.
He's just got that mindset. he's just got that like skewn boy, like I can fucking go. So me and him are doing High Rocks, but like Dale and Ryan and a few other boys, my mate David and Stu are doing it. So there's like a good team of us going. So we've got a bit of like competitive fucking banter going on. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. Like I've always done a little bit of like you said, like calisthenics, loved plyometric, like loved box jumps, loved that kind of athletic side of training. And I kind of shied away from it for a few years and just done like squat, deadlift, bench press, bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And now I'm introducing it again, doing a lot more, maybe not a lot more mobility, but like a lot more like core work, a lot more, I suppose athletic development, proper like loving that I'm on training right now. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on for the next 12 to 16 weeks.
It'd be very interesting to see how your fitness journey evolves through that, and then how parts of that I think will come into your business. Like generally, like from I know you've got your standard, like the product and the service of what you built, but I think there's going to be a few other branches that get built.
We are launching something in August surrounding me doing this.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah. I'm like opening up things that I don't even want to speak about.
I got you.
So we're going to launch something called the Combine in August, which is going to be an 8-week program with a fitness competition at the end of it.
Right.
Not your general like. The things that I love about High Rocks is that it's repeatable, so you can show up every year and you can get better, and you can show up at every one and you can compare yourself to what you did last time. Mm-hmm. The things that I love about CrossFit are like the elements of like all these different facets of fitness, and it's like a true test of like you are a fit fucking human being. Mm-hmm. What I don't love about CrossFit is that, you know, like if me and you had done it, but all the events were squat and bench, or they were really like compound lift out, like you're gonna smash me. But if they were all muscle up and gymnastics focused, I'm going to do better than that. So it kind of depends on what year you show up and do CrossFit. High Rocks is good because it's repeatable. So it's like, you know that you're the best at High Rocks. So like, it's quite like standardized. We're going to build this kind of competition side of things. And this might totally flop because it's not my bag, but I want to do it because this is how I want to train and it's what I want to compete in. Where we've got like 5 different disciplines. So you've got plyometrics, strength, muscular endurance.
So like an advanced ethics type of thing?
Kinda, but we're going to use elements of aerobic endurance, and we'll have a Metcon in there as well. So yeah, actually, do you know what? There's a huge element of ethics in that, in the sense of that's 3 disciplines. I think it's strength, Metcon, and
strength, endurance, and Metcon, yeah.
So we're almost doing that, but we're going to have plyometric, which I think is very different. So we're going to do your max vert jump and your max long jump combined, and then the muscular endurance we've taken from the NFL Combine. So like they do 100 kilo bench for just like unlimited reps. We'll scale that. We're not going to do 100 kilo because I'd get like 1 rep. So we're going to scale that, and that's going to be the kind of muscular endurance test. Mm-hmm. None of these are set in stone.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a fantastic idea, and that's why I wanted to ask you, are you thinking about pivoting into there? I think your product, the photo shoot element and the community part, like. Mm-hmm. I don't know, me personally, I think the trend of getting in shape is always going to be there. It's always going to be very surface level, but I feel like it becomes a gateway. And you may say this with people who move on from MTN, where do they end up going? Yeah. And it's like, why do I not have a transition within my own business?
That's exactly what it's been. Like, we've had so many clients be like, I want to go and do High Rocks. And like, I've coached a few of them for High Rocks, but it's because it's their first High Rocks. And I was like, just as long as you complete it, I'm happy. Am I well versed enough to help them? I actually think I am, to be honest. Like, I've been coaching long enough, and I've coached a lot of athletes to have that knowledge, but I'm not necessarily known for doing that. Are we jumping on the trend? Yeah, to an extent. Is our main focus and niche always going to be fat loss? Yes, right now anyway. But you're so right. Like, so many of our clients have been like, but I just want to do High Rocks, and they're like, I've got a High Rocks coach, and I'm like, fair enough, because I'm never someone that wants to work with you if we're not optimal for you. Fat loss and aesthetics goals. From a lifestyle client, I believe we're the best. Like, that's what we do. It's our bread and butter. But there's so many people, like, if somebody said they want to get good at High Rocks, I'd say go and train with Graham Halliday from Elation. Yeah. 100%. Like, nobody's better. Or even looking at Jerry from AFIT, or Chris,
and I always think this is quite a hard thing as a coach to balance, because I've had a few of these conversations where clients have asked me to coach them on a specific goal. Yeah. And I've had to, my integrity is like, look, I don't think I'm the best person for this. I'm willing to give it a shot, but here's what I think your option is. And 9 times out of 10, the client's like, no, I like you, I want to work with you. And
they
it's
love
like,
that you've done that as well.
Wow. I know that becomes like another layer of like, buy-in.
So like a damaging admission, you're like, I'm not the best for it, but I can help if you want. And they're like, because you've told me you're not the best and you've been open and honest, I'd love to work with you.
I like the whole I like the idea of where you're going with it. So
yeah,
be interesting if that evolves. You got to do like a grip strength challenge then.
We'll maybe do that
because you've got your
So there is a bodyweight section. We've not actually figured out exactly what we're going to do on that, because we do want a level of like accessibility. Like we might make it chin ups, but maybe the regression is just a max dead hang. So like most people can do that. So yeah, it's one of those ones. Like I look at the 12-week peak. We launched that because I wanted to get lean, and I was like, does anyone want to get lean with us? I'm gonna do a shoot. Does anyone want to do a shoot with us? That's how it started. So with this, I'm like, I'm gonna get fit for High Rocks and become the most athletic version of my 30-year-old self. Does anyone want to do it? And it's like, if 10 people do it, I'll just be buzzing to train with 10 people that want to do the same thing. And if 110 people do it, great, we've got a good competition like on the go here. What we're actually gonna do is we're gonna invite. You're going to be invited now. We're going to invite like 15 to 20 guys and 15 to 20 girls down to Commando before we launch this to do it. Not to join our program or anything like that, but just people that we know, friends in the fitness community that
give you honest feedback, see how the things running.
See, like, and just be like, let's see how we all compare. Because I think the thing that I like the most about it is, like, I mean, what's your 3RM deadlift at peak?
Maybe about 220.
Yeah, so like you're gonna come in and be able to do something there or thereabouts.
Oh mate, I'm training for it now. After this, I'm training for it now.
But then it's like, you know, I don't know what you're bad at necessarily. I don't know your training style. But if I was like, compared to me, it's like, let's do max chin ups. It's like body weight's like one of my kind of things that I do. It's like, okay, maybe I'll edge you on that. You've got deadlift, and it's like, who's best at running? Maybe it's you. So who's better at Metcon? Maybe it's me. So I quite like just having those different areas. It doesn't matter, because I think we'll actually attract a lot of footballers. Like some of my mates play football, and I think it's just like how they like to train, because there's an aesthetics focus to an extent, because some of it's functional bodybuilding. Yeah. So they're going to look good as well. But there's like, they'll be amazing at the aerobic endurance, which is actually going to be a bleep test. Because when was the last time you done a bleep test?
It's where my competitive journey started, mate. I done the cross country race in high school. Yeah. Seen the attention the first person got, and I was like, I want that. I'm going to train hard as anything. My best mate at the time smoked everybody on the bleep test, and I was like, I need to get better running. This is how you get attention. And I think you mentioned it earlier on, like when you're good at PE, or if you've done athletics when you're younger, High Rocks and these events like Athex, it scratches that itch. It becomes like, and then you combine that with a community, you have an absolute killer business model. Totally. Which is weird, because when I'm speaking to coaches just now, coaches who have a mentorship, big things just now is build your community and have a retreat. Yeah. Build your community or have an event at the end of it. Yeah. So very interesting to see like that's like the generic advice, and if there's someone that's going to make it work, it's going to be you for sure.
Hopefully. Sure. And it's one of those ones, if it doesn't, it's something we've tried.
Our tool in the toolbox, isn't it?
It's there if people want to do it at some point. Like my goal is to basically have an MTN life cycle. So 4 months growth project, muscle building, 3 months 12-week peak, fat loss, 2 to 3 months performance. You're covered. Drop in and out. Some of them have got events, some have got photo shoots, some of them have got retreats, some of them have got competitions. You can kind of choose what you want. Like my biggest thing is just trying to keep clients on board, because I actually love the people I work with. So I'm like, if I can create something that keeps scratching the itch, because like you said, so many of our clients have a fat loss goal, do it, and they're like, what's next? For me, like something like the 12-week peaks almost became a half marathon. It's like, I've done a 12-week peak.
That's it, done.
Like I've done a half marathon.
Does it hurt when people don't return to it?
Return to the 12-week peak? Nah. Because I see it as that.
Did it used to?
Nah. Our retention's really good. Like our retention's like, I think this year it was 58% from last year. So like half of last year done it again. It's one of those ones, like, how many diets have you done? Proper hard diets?
6, I would say in total.
Yeah, over 15 years?
Yeah.
So it's like, I've done probably the same 5 or 6, and it's like, I don't expect you to come back every year, because I wouldn't diet every single year. So it's almost like, take some time off if you want. So like some of our best results are people that done the very first 12-week peak and come back this year, because they've spent fucking 3 years building muscle, and I'm like, you changed. Like,
we could talk about this endlessly, but a question I did want to ask you, see judging the physiques, how hard is that to do? Because it's like you tap into the bodybuilding of the judge, and it can be a very subjective thing.
I really hate it. Like I don't, if I could get rid of one element of the 12-week peak, it would be that, but equally it's the competition element's quite a driver for people. It's a good marketing tool, whatever else. I really don't like it, and I used to love it, because it was like, oh, we got all these results, and now I'm like, we'll get results anyway. Like, do we need to do it?
So who's to say that person is...
We do it
I've seen you done a point system.
We do it
in
in the fairest possible way, but I think what I hate about it the most, right, comes back to me wanting to be liked by everyone.
Yeah, say no to like
even in the ball, like we announced the winners and then the rest of the night spent with people coming up to me absolutely steaming, being like, so where did I place? Why didn't I win? What was wrong? And it's like, it definitely, that would be the most damaging thing that I'd say that the 12-week peak like has an element of. Equally,
consumer driven though.
It's a very small percentage of people that feel like that, and usually those people are the people that come back next year and do the best because they're that like, that's exactly how I'd be. It's exactly how I'd be because I'm so competitive. So
have you worked out if you can ever change that, or is it just something that you think?
Yeah, I think we could. Like you obviously said at the start, you know, would you change it to be like a fitness competition at the end instead? And maybe that's what we do, or maybe there's not. Maybe it's not based on physique. See, the thing is, it's not actually based on the end physique. It's based on the overall transformation and the physique and the amount of fat loss. So it's kind of taken into consideration 3 things. Because if it was a physique-based competition, Danielle that won year 2 would just come back every year. Like Danielle was a freak. Like she just like, if it was a physique-based competition, the same people could come back every year and win it and win it and win it and win it. But it's kind of based on like a number of factors. But you are right. It's the thing that I don't love about it. But then there's the caveat of like, see, sending people on these holidays and like having winners and doing the black tie ball and announcing
outweighs all of that.
It's another big thing as well. I think, I think the positives for it outweigh the negatives for sure.
Good. Well, look, it's been a good 2-hour conversation, mate. It's like right into that. So thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man, and special announcement. Have you got a name for it yet?
The Combine.
Yeah.
Maybe
MTN Combine or something.
Or just the Combine, because it might be branded differently, but not decided yet.
I like it. It'll be awesome to compete in that and win that, of course.
I love that.
Right, thanks.
That's man, I appreciate it.